Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles. Chapter 31:17. Is it really okay? Wang Shui looked at Zhao Xiaojin's back before looking at Zhao Yang and Qin Feiyang. What do you mean it's okay? It's a big deal. Zhao Yang was excited. What is it? Wang Shui was surprised. Qin Feiyang and the madman glanced at Zhao Yang. Another round of drumming was unavoidable. Qin Feiyang looked at Wang Shui and smiled. Auntie, you guys take your time, let's go sit in the courtyard outside. Wang Shui was slightly stunned and hurriedly said, then I'll let Yang accompany you guys. No need. You guys chat. Qin Feiyang smiled. Alright then, treat this place as your own home, don't be polite. Wang Shui smiled. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded and then brought Madman out of the pavilion and into the pavilion. Calling me out, do you have something to say? Madman was suspicious. And, there's a change in the plan. Qin Feiyang nodded and sat by the stone table. He pondered for a while and said, Zhao Eryong's token should be safe now, but what? Madman frowned. Qin Feiyang sighed, but now, I'm afraid there's no way to move Wang Shui and the rest. So it's about this. Madman nodded and said, I think so too. Zhao Xiaojin has shown extraordinary talent and has attracted the attention of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance's upper echelons. If she suddenly disappeared, it would definitely cause a commotion. That's right. Especially since she has such a relationship with Yi Tian. Even if she didn't show extraordinary talent, with her relationship with Yi Tian, it's very dangerous for her to go to the Black Tortoise world. Qin Feiyang sighed. This matter was somewhat out of his expectations. Yi Tian was the Vice Lord's eldest grandson and Zhao Xiaojin had been in love with Yi Tian for a long time. If Zhao Xiaojin were to find out about the situation in the Black Tortoise world and secretly send a message to Yi Tian, then their situation would be very bad. Then how about this, destroy her voice transmission god stone. Madman transmitted. If they destroyed Zhao Xiaojin's voice transmission god stone, then even if Zhao Xiaojin knew their identity, she wouldn't be able to inform Yi Tian. No. The divine sound transmission stone is different from the image crystal. Once the divine sound transmission stone is destroyed, Yi Tian will guess whether she met with an accident or not. When the time comes, I'll definitely search everywhere. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Then why don't you destroy it and let us keep it? Madman asked. That won't work either. If Yi Tian sends her a message and no one responds, Yi Tian will also become suspicious. When he comes here to take a look, his whole family is gone. Think about it, who wouldn't be suspicious when encountering such a thing? In short, Zhao Xiaojin has already attracted everyone's attention. This family cannot suddenly disappear at this time. Qin Feiyang said. Then what should we do? We can't keep wasting time like this. Madman raised his eyebrows. We can't keep wasting time like this. We have to find out the relationship between the vice leader and the blood hall as soon as possible. When Qin Feiyang said this, his expression suddenly changed. He pondered for a while and looked at Madman. The Hall of the Exalted. Hall of Fame. Madman was taken aback and asked suspiciously, what do you mean? I heard everyone talking about this Hall of the Exalted. It seems to be very amazing. Say, if I enter the Hall of the Exalted, will I be able to get close to the vice leader? Qin Feiyang secretly said. This, Madman was silent and shook his head. I don't know. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and said, then when Zhao Xiaojin comes out, we will first inquire about the Hall of the Exalted. Madman nodded. Even Yi Tian didn't know the reason why the vice leader killed them, so they had to start from the vice leader himself. And to get close to the vice leader wasn't an easy task. Because Elder Hu personally said that even the people they arranged in the alliance capital couldn't get close to the vice leader. This meant that the vice leader must be very careful when dealing with this matter. It would be difficult to find out. After a while, Zhao Xiaojin walked out. Her long hair was wet and she was wearing a loose dress. She looked somewhat charming. "Why are you guys sitting here?" She walked to the pavilion while wiping her hair and looking at the two of them. "The air is good." Madman laughed out loud. Zhao Xiaojin rolled her eyes and sat opposite the two of them. "Now tell me, why are you looking for us?" "Guess." Madman grinned. Zhao Xiaojin's face instantly darkened and she said angrily, "I haven't settled the score with you for calling me a tigress, so you better behave yourself. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." I'm looking forward to it." "How are you going to be impolite to me?" Madman looked at her teasingly. "You," Zhao Xiaojin suddenly stood up, her jade-like hands clenched tightly. All right. Qin Feiyang hurriedly waved his hand and said with a smile, "Miss Xiaojin, I have a question that I would like to ask." "Do you see that? What is attitude? Learn more." Zhao Xiaojin glared at Madman, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "What question?" "Speak." Qin Feiyang said, "What do I have to do to meet the two leaders?" Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. "What?" Qin Feiyang was suspicious. "No, are you sure you want to meet the two leaders?" Zhao Xiaojin frowned. Qin Feiyang nodded. Zhao Xiaojin's expression suddenly became strange. Is this kid crazy? Why doesn't he take a look at his status and strength? He actually wants to meet the leaders. What's with that look of yours? Are you looking down on us? Madman frowned, his face full of displeasure. It's not that I'm looking down on you guys, but you guys think too highly of yourselves. Not to mention the leader, even the deputy leader is not someone you can meet. Not to mention you guys, even my father, the city lords of the various cities in the alliance capital, have to report first and wait for notice if they want to meet the deputy leader. Zhao Xiaojin pouted. Such arrogance. Madman raised his brows. Zhao Xiaojin said indifferently, "It's not arrogance, it's just that their status and identity are there." "Then what if they enter the Hall of Fame?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Enter the Hall of Fame?" Zhao Xiaojin was stunned for a moment before nodding. "Then there's hope to meet the two leaders." Qin Feiyang and Madman looked at each other, a glint flashing in their eyes. "Then what kind of place is the Hall of Fame?" Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. He looked at the two of them and asked, "You guys don't even know about the Hall of Fame? Are you guys from the Alliance capital?" "No." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "No." Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. Although we're members of the Itinerant Cultivator Alliance, this is our first time in the Alliance capital." Qin Feiyang smiled. The Alliance capital was just the headquarters of the Itinerant Cultivator Alliance. There were many people outside. For example, Shuo Xiaoxian, Shuo Xiaocheng, and the guards of the City Lord Mansion were actually considered members of the Itinerant Cultivator Alliance. First time in the Alliance capital? Then how did you guys join the Itinerant Cultivator Alliance? Zhao Xiaojin was suspicious. This is all thanks to your father. Back then, when we were in trouble, he was kind enough to save us. Seeing that we were all alone, he let us join the Itinerant Cultivator Alliance. Qin Feiyang smiled. I see. Zhao Xiaojin came to a realization and said, "In that case, my father is your benefactor." Qin Feiyang nodded and smiled. That's not right. Back then, when my father was talking about you guys, he seemed to be a little afraid of you guys. Zhao Xiaojin frowned. Afraid? I'm afraid your eyes are playing tricks on you. With our cultivation, how can your father be afraid of us? Qin Feiyang shook his head. But he said that no matter what you guys say, we have to listen to you guys. Isn't that fear? Zhao Xiaojin was suspicious. Perhaps your father didn't express it clearly. His original intention was that since we're new here, you guys should take care of us. Qin Feiyang smiled. Is that so? Zhao Xiaojin frowned. Qin Feiyang said, if you don't believe me, you can send a message to your father. Of course, we'll explain it clearly. Okay. Zhao Xiaojin nodded and took out the voice transmission divine stone. Buzz. Soon. Zhao Eryong's virtual image appeared. Father. Zhao Xiaojin smiled sweetly. You lass, I was just about to send you a message. You've comprehended the law of light and even comprehended the third profound meaning. How could you hide such a big matter from your father? Zhao Eryong immediately scolded him. You already know about it. Zhao Xiaojin giggled. You and Feng Wanyun made such a big fuss that even young Master Yi Tian personally came out. How could I not know? Zhao Eryong was helpless. Zhao Xiaojin said aggrievedly, you can't blame me for this. Feng Wanyun went too far. Alright, I got it. Fortunately, you made such a fuss. The higher-ups have already sent me a message saying that the 10th Elder's order is invalid. Zhao Eryong smiled. That's great. Zhao Xiaojin was overjoyed. What's so great about it? Zhao Eryong shook his head. Of course, he could think of the problem that Qin Feiyang and Frenzy could think of. Now that his daughter was receiving a lot of attention, if she moved, she would definitely attract everyone's attention. Zhao Eryong said, Xiaojin, leave for a while. Leave. Zhao Xiaojin glanced at Qin Feiyang and Frenzy and immediately said unhappily, Father, what exactly are you hiding from us? If I tell you to leave, then leave. Zhao Eryong's expression turned cold. No. Zhao Xiaojin shook her head. There was a trace of anger on Zhao Eryong's face. Zhao Xiaojin said, we have to make it clear in person. Did you recruit the two of them into the Rogue Cultivator Alliance? Zhao Eryong was stunned and looked at Qin Feiyang and Frenzy suspiciously. This is what happened. Qin Feiyang briefly explained the conversation with Zhao Xiaojin. So that's what it is. Zhao Eryong was enlightened. He looked at Zhao Xiaojin and said, I did save them back then, and it was because they were alone that I recruited them into the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Really? Zhao Xiaojin frowned. Of course. They have been wandering outside for the past few years. I saw that they had already broken through to the initial imperishable stage, so I let them come to the Alliance capital to see the strength of our Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Zhao Eryong nodded. Zhao Xiaojin finally believed it. She said unhappily, all right then, you can talk in private. She emphasized the word private to express the dissatisfaction in her heart. Then, she threw the divine voice stone to Qin Feiyang and turned to walk into the attic angrily. Chapter 31:18. After Qin Feiyang watched Zhao Xiaojin enter the pavilion, he looked at Zhao Eryong and said with a smile, this daughter of yours is a little difficult to deal with. That's good. She won't suffer outside. Zhao Eryong said. Qin Feiyang looked around and said in a low voice, the situation has changed. I can see it. Zhao Eryong nodded. Qin Feiyang said in a low voice, in the future, we will tell the public that you recruited us into the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, orphans without parents. What about my wife and 2 sons? Zhao Eryong frowned. Qin Feiyang glanced at the pavilion and said in a low voice, don't worry about that. I will ensure their safety. All right. Then I won't say much. You guys be careful. Zhao Eryong reminded. N. Qin Feiyang nodded. Zhao Eryong's image dissipated. Qin Feiyang lowered his head and muttered to himself. Not long after. Zhao Xiaojin walked out and changed into a clean tight outfit. Her hair was tied behind her head, looking neat and capable. "Are you done chatting?" She walked into the pavilion and looked at the two of them. N. Qin Feiyang returned the voice transmission God Stone to Zhao Xiaojin. Zhao Xiaojin pursed her lips and said, "I really don't know what it is that I can't know." Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "A woman definitely can't know about a man's matters." N. Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. She glanced at the pavilion and said in a low voice, "Could it be that father has a new woman outside?" Ah. Qin Feiyang and Madman exchanged glances. This woman's thoughts changed too quickly. They couldn't adapt to it. What if that's the case? Madman looked at her teasingly. Isn't it normal for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines? But it's wrong to hide it from us. Anyway, I don't care. It depends on whether mother can accept it or not. Of course, I will definitely stand on my mother's side. Zhao Xiaojin snorted coldly. Madman was speechless and asked curiously, "Tell us about this Hall of Fame." The Hall of Fame. A look of yearning appeared on Zhao Xiaojin's face. He looked up at the sky and said, "This place is our alliance's holy land for cultivation." Cultivation holy land? Madman and Qin Feiyang were even more curious. Yes. To be honest, Big Brother Yi Tian often brings me to the Hall of Fame. Zhao Xiaojin chuckled. What? The two of them were stunned. But every time, I hide in his spatial divine item, so no one knows. The Hall of the Exalted is not only rich in resources, but also has temporal arrays. Zhao Xiaojin's face was filled with excitement. Time array? Qin Feiyang and Qin Feng were stunned. Yes. It's a time formation that lasts 500 years per day. How about it? Amazing, right? Zhao Xiaojin looked at the two of them proudly. 500 years in one day. Qin Feiyang and the mad scientist looked at each other. They were wondering how powerful he was. It was just like the time array that Ice Dragon had set up on the Divine Dragon Island. It was twice as extensive as the Black Tortoise realm. What's with that expression? Aren't you surprised at all? Zhao Xiaojin looked at the two of them and couldn't help but frown. Surprised, of course I'm surprised. I've never heard of such a powerful temporal array before. The mad scientist said in an extremely exaggerated manner. Then, your cultivation speed is so fast because you often follow Yi Tian to the Hall of Fame? Qin Feiyang asked. More or less. But this doesn't deny my talent. Look at Feng Wanyun. He stays in the Hall of Fame every day, but I don't see how powerful he is. Zhao Xiaojin said. Feng Wanyun is also in the Hall of Fame. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Of course. He is the grandson of the 10th elder. With his identity and status, wherever he wants to go, isn't it just a matter of a word from the 10th elder? Zhao Xiaojin pouted. Qin Feiyang asked, then, what are the conditions for others to enter the Hall of Fame? First of all, it must be talent and cultivation. Your cultivation must be at least the perfect imperishable realm. As for talent, you must comprehend a type of law. Secondly, you must go through a trial. According to Brother Yi Tian, this trial is quite difficult and very dangerous. If you are not careful, you may lose your life. Zhao Xiaojin said. At least the perfect imperishable realm? Qin Feiyang frowned. That's right. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. Then, don't you already have this qualification? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Since you already have this qualification, why not go to the Hall of Fame? I just broke through to the perfect imperishable realm a few years ago. And the trial of the Hall of Fame only opens once every 1,000 years. Originally, I planned to sign up this time to give Brother Yi Tian a surprise. But I didn't expect Feng Wanyan to appear halfway and expose my third profound of the law of light in advance. Zhao Xiaojin had a look of dissatisfaction. Then, how long until the next trial opens? The mad scientist asked. Zhao Xiaojin thought for a moment and said, it seems to be more than 300 years. 300 years, Qin Feiyang and the mad scientist looked at each other. 300 years should be enough for them to step into the great mastery of the undead realm. But there was definitely no hope for them to step into the perfect imperishable realm. Unless they took the Dragon Phoenix Divine Pill. But it was too much of a loss to take the Dragon Phoenix Divine Pill at the perfect imperishable realm. The mad scientist asked, must one reach the perfect imperishable realm to sign up for the trial? Yes. This is the rule set by the alliance leader himself. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. It's a bit troublesome. The mad scientist transmitted his voice. Yes. If I really can't think of a way, then I can only take the Dragon Phoenix Divine Pill. Qin Feiyang secretly said. Then, you have decided to enter the Hall of Fame? The mad scientist secretly asked. Yes. At the same time, I can also find out how many geniuses are hidden in the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Qin Feiyang secretly smiled. Geniuses? The mad scientist smiled proudly and transmitted his voice, with the two of us here, are there any geniuses in this world? Don't. If you want to talk, talk about yourself. Don't drag me into it. I don't have as much confidence as you, nor am I as narcissistic as you. The corner of Qin Feiyang's mouth twitched. He really wasn't modest at all. Look at your cowardice. The mad scientist rolled his eyes at Qin Feiyang. What are the two of you flirting with each other for? Zhao Xiaojin looked at the two of them suspiciously. Nothing. Qin Feiyang smiled. Next. The two of them directly stayed in Zhao Eryong's house. Wang Shui also specially arranged a room for them to use for cultivation. In the first few days, Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin would occasionally appear and chat with the family. But then, it was rare for the two of them to appear. Although on the surface, they were cultivating in the room arranged by Wang Shui, in reality, they were all in seclusion in the castle. Zhao Xiaojin was naturally cultivating as well. Zhao Yang was still the same as before. When he had nothing to do, he would ask his friends out to eat, drink, and have fun. In his dictionary, the word cultivation. That would never be possible. During this period, Zhang Sanbao had come to look for Zhao Xiaojin many times, but Zhao Xiaojin had been cultivating and had not seen him. This made him rather angry, but he could not flare up and could only endure it. The storm caused by Zhao Xiaojin and Feng Wanyan also gradually faded away. Perhaps it was because he was afraid of Yi Tian, but Feng Wanyan did not make things difficult for Zhao Eryong's family anymore. Everything slowly calmed down. At the same time, outside, there were more rumors about Qin Feiyang than before, and Winxi City was undoubtedly the center of public opinion. City Lord's mansion. I wonder how they are now. In a secret room, Zhuo Tianxing, the city lord, and Elder Yu were gathered together. The one who spoke was Zhuo Tianxing. They have the sovereign divine weapon, what are you worried about? The city lord smiled faintly. Even so, that is the alliance capital after all. It is the headquarters of our Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Zhuo Tianxing sighed. If Shuo Shaoxian wasn't with Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin, he wouldn't care. But now that his daughter was by their side, if anything happened to the two of them, his daughter would definitely suffer. Alright, don't worry too much. This time, I called the two of you here to discuss Chu Yun's matter. The city lord shook his head with a trace of worry between his brows. At the mention of Chu Yun, Zhuo Tianxing and Elder Yu looked at each other and couldn't help but frown. All these years, Chu Yun has come to us more than once to ask us to join the Demon Palace. I think we should give her an accurate answer now. Otherwise, if we drag it out like this, sooner or later, her patience will be worn out. The city lord said. Zhuo Tianxing shook his head and said, joining the demon palace is equivalent to betraying us. I don't think we can do that. But, from Chu Yun's conversation, the demon palace knows the true relationship between us and Qin Feiyang like the back of their hand. If we don't agree, what if the demon palace spreads this news? The city lord was rather worried. It shouldn't be that bad. They want us to join the demon palace because they want to tie up Qin Feiyang and Madman Mo and prevent them from joining our rogue cultivator alliance because of Xiao Xian. So, if the demon palace is smart enough, they won't spread this news. Because if we are in trouble, Xiao Xian will be implicated. If Xiao Xian is implicated, Qin Feiyang and Madman Mo will naturally not be happy. This way, it will backfire and make Qin Feiyang and Madman Mo unhappy. Elder Yu analyzed. Elder Yu's analysis makes sense. We really can't give Chu Yun an answer now. I personally think we should delay this matter. Zhuo Tianxing said. Until when? The city lord looked at Zhuo Tianxing and asked. Until Qin Feiyang and the others come out of the alliance capital. If what Chu Yun said is true, that the higher-ups of our rogue cultivator alliance are colluding with the Blood Hall, then we have no choice but to join the Demon Palace. No matter how inhuman I am, I can't help the Blood Hall to deal with my hometown. Zhuo Tianxing snorted. That's right. We were born in the eastern continent, and this land raised us. We can't tolerate outsiders trampling on it. Elder Yu nodded, and his eyes were also emitting a cold light. The city lord took a deep breath and said, all right then. When Chu Yun comes next time, we might as well tell her directly and wait for Qin Feiyang and the others to come out of the alliance capital before we decide. Zhuo Tianxing and Elder Yu nodded. As a member of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, it was really difficult for them to accept that the Rogue Cultivator Alliance and the Blood Hall might be colluding with Chu Yun. Moreover, Qin Feiyang and Madman Mo sneaked into the alliance capital this time to investigate this matter. However, when they thought about it, it was indeed unusual for the deputy alliance leader to want to kill Qin Feiyang and Madman Mo so much. So, they were waiting to see what the truth was. Chapter 31:19. In the blink of an eye. More than 300 years had passed. After constant hard work, Qin Feiyang and Madman's cultivation had stepped into the greater mastery of the imperishable realm. Moreover, Madman had also comprehended the new war law to the third profound. However, Qin Feiyang's harvest was even greater than his. Not only did he comprehend the war law to the third profound, but he also comprehended the slaughter law to the third profound. In other words, now, in terms of the power of laws, Qin Feiyang had officially surpassed Madman. What the hell? The fourth profound is so difficult to comprehend. In the hall of the ancient castle, Qin Feiyang and Madman sat opposite each other. Madman had a distressed expression. He had mastered 4 types of law powers. He had already raised 3 of them to the third profundity. Therefore, when he comprehended the third profundity of the laws of war, he began to comprehend the fourth profundity of the 4 laws. But after so many years, he didn't make much progress. Qin Feiyang shook his head. The difficulty of the fourth profound is indeed far greater than the third profound. He also tried to comprehend the fourth profound. But after tens of thousands of years of meditation, he didn't gain anything. Of course. These tens of thousands of years referred to the time in the Black Tortoise realm. So, he decisively gave up and comprehended the third profound of the other types of law powers first. Now, karma law, thunder law, light law, war law, and slaughter law had all reached the third profound. Only the power law and wind law were left. After comprehending the third profound of these 2 types of law powers, he would slowly comprehend the fourth profound. No, I can't lose to you no matter what. Continue, I must comprehend the fourth profound. Madman suddenly stood up and walked towards the cultivation room. Qin Feiyang already had an absolute advantage in terms of quantity, so he could only surpass Qin Feiyang in terms of quality. As long as he comprehended the fourth profound, he would still be the winner. Then you're not going to the Hall of the Exalted? Qin Feiyang was taken aback and quickly asked. Not going. Madman answered without turning his head. Ah. Qin Feiyang was stunned. What a stubborn guy. But to be honest, he was relieved that Lunatic was not going to the Hall of the Exalted. First of all, Lunatic's personality was too flamboyant and unbridled. The second was the madman's divine power. Because of the special existence of the evil power, if he was not careful, his identity would be exposed. Therefore, not going was actually a good thing. However, right now, he and the madman's cultivation were only at the great accomplishment imperishable stage. It seemed like they didn't have the qualifications to enter the Hall of Fame. Qin Feiyang frowned and fell into deep thought. Did he really have to take the Dragon Phoenix Divine Pill? Boom! Suddenly, a powerful aura descended from the sky above the courtyard. Qin Feiyang was shocked. It seemed to be Elder Qin's aura. He quickly left the castle and appeared in the room. He walked to the window and looked up. He saw Elder Qin standing alone in the void above. In the meantime, Zhao Xiaojin and Wang Shui were also alarmed and quickly ran out. Jin, the Hall of the Exalted trial will begin in 3 days. Are you ready? Elder Qin landed in front of Zhao Xiaojin and smiled. Yes. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. This old man has high hopes for you. Good luck. Elder Qin smiled encouragingly, then took out a golden badge and gave it to Zhao Xiaojin. He then said, this is the proof of qualification for the trial. You must take good care of it. Without it, you won't be able to enter the trial grounds. Okay. Zhao Xiaojin took the badge, her eyes full of expectation. As long as she entered the Hall of the Exalted, she wouldn't have to secretly follow Brother Yi Tian in. The most important thing was that she could walk together with Brother Yi Tian openly in the future. Suddenly, Zhao Xiaojin seemed to have thought of something. She looked at Elder Qin and asked, what about Mo Wuhui? Can he register? In principle, he can't. Although he has comprehended the second profound meaning of the law of thunder, his cultivation is still at the small accomplishment imperishable stage. He is still far from the registration requirements. Elder Qin shook his head. That's a pity. Zhao Xiaojin sighed. In principle, you can't, but you can be flexible. A small accomplishment imperishable stage has comprehended the second profound meaning. To be honest, his talent is not below yours. Such a person is worth cultivating. Elder Qin smiled slightly. Zhao Xiaojin asked, so, he can register? N. Elder Qin took out another badge and asked with a smile, where is Mo Wuhui? Zhao Xiaojin immediately looked at Qin Feiyang's room. When she saw Qin Feiyang standing in front of the window, she asked, where is your brother? Qin Feiyang flew out of the window and landed in front of Elder Qin. He cupped his hands and said, greetings, Elder Qin. No need to be so polite. Elder Qin waved his hand and said with a smile, quickly call your brother out. My brother. He left the Alliance capital. Qin Feiyang pondered for a moment and said regretfully. Left? Elder Qin was stunned. Zhao Xiaojin and Wang Shui were also stunned. Did he leave? How come they didn't know? Qin Feiyang looked at the mother and daughter and said with a smile, my brother didn't want to disturb you, so he left quietly. Then this old man has been guarding the city wall. Why didn't I see him leave? Elder Qin was suspicious. Qin Feiyang laughed and said, then he should have left from another city gate. I see. Then can you contact him? The opportunity to enter the Hall of Fame is really rare. Elder Qin looked at Qin Feiyang. When he left, he said that he was going to train and didn't want me to disturb him. Qin Feiyang shook his head. That's a pity. Elder Qin shook his head regretfully. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, it's not a pity. I can replace my brother. You. Elder Qin looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. Zhao Xiaojin and Wang Shui were also stunned. Was this something that could be replaced? Elder Qin came back to his senses and said with a smile, this old man can understand your feelings, but the Hall of Fame is not something that you can replace just because you want to. I know. In order to reach the immortal realm, you have to comprehend a kind of law power before you are qualified. Qin Feiyang nodded. Then why did you say that you can replace him? Alright, there will be a chance in the future. Work hard. Elder Qin put away the badge and patted Qin Feiyang's shoulder. He smiled comfortingly and turned to leave. Boom! But at this moment, a terrifying battle intent suddenly roared out. Following closely. This battle intent, with Qin Feiyang as the center, formed an invisible domain. Elder Qin, Zhao Xiaojin, and Wang Shui were immediately shrouded in comprehension. Zhao Xiaojin and her mother suddenly felt a strong sense of oppression in their hearts. Elder Qin was shocked and turned to look at Qin Feiyang. At this moment, although Qin Feiyang's figure still looked so thin, it was like a god of war had descended. The battle intent revealed, even a perfect dominator like him felt a sense of oppression from the depths of his heart. What are you doing? Zhao Xiaojin came back to her senses and looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, the second profound of the law of war, the battle domain. You, Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. This guy actually mastered the law power. He really hit it well. I didn't expect that there was a hidden genius in my East City. Great. Elder Qin came back to his senses and immediately nodded with a gratified smile on his face. I really don't deserve to be called a genius. Qin Feiyang shook his head, withdrew the battle domain, and returned to his humble and amiable appearance. Don't be modest. Elder Qin smiled. Then, he looked at Qin Feiyang and said, your cultivation. Zhao Xiaojin also looked at Qin Feiyang and found that Qin Feiyang had broken through to the greater mastery of the imperishable realm. I just broke through. Qin Feiyang smiled. Not bad. The cultivation of the greater mastery of the imperishable realm, plus the second profound of the law of war, is no worse than your brother. You can replace him. After Elder Qin finished speaking, he took out the badge again and handed it to Qin Feiyang. Thank you, Elder Qin. Qin Feiyang bowed respectfully, and then sized up the badge. The badge was about the size of a baby's fist and seemed to be made of gold, shining with dazzling brilliance. On the front of the badge, there was the word Alliance, engraved with complicated lines. On the back, there was the word Trial, engraved. This is called the Trial Badge. I believe you all know its function, so I won't explain more. Prepare well. Elder Qin smiled. Okay. Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin nodded. Then I'll look forward to your performance. Elder Qin laughed in a hoarse voice. Then, he turned around and disappeared like lightning. Zhao Xiaojin immediately looked at Qin Feiyang and said in surprise, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. Don't be so surprised. You've already comprehended the third profound. What's mine, which is merely the second profound? Qin Feiyang was speechless. That's true. Zhao Xiaojin was stunned and nodded with a proud smile. Okay. There are still 3 days. You should go and adjust your state. Xiaojin, when you enter the trial, remember to help Feng Yuan. Wang Shui smiled. It depends on my mood. Zhao Xiaojin glanced at Qin Feiyang and then turned to enter the attic. This wretched girl, Wang Shui shook her head and smiled at Qin Feiyang. Feng Yuan, don't take offense. My daughter is like this. She has a sharp tongue but a soft heart. No. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled. What had he not experienced along the way? How could he be calculative with a little girl? Yes. In his eyes, Zhao Xiaojin was just a little girl who had not grown up and was not mature yet. In the blink of an eye. 3 days passed. Morning. Many people rushed to the central city early in the morning. It was very lively. However, most people stopped at the border of the central city and did not dare to take a step forward. This was because the central city was the core area of the Alliance capital. Only the core members of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance were qualified to enter the central city. As for the people in the 4 major districts, they were definitely not qualified to set foot in. At this very moment, in the sky above the square facing the street in the central city, an old man in red was sitting cross-legged in the void. He did not have any aura on him and was like an ordinary old man. He squinted his eyes and seemed to be meditating. As for the crowd gathered outside the square, they looked at the red-clothed old man with eyes full of respect and fear. Obviously, this old man in red had a high status in the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Chapter 3120. Whoosh! Suddenly. Accompanied by the sound of something breaking through the air, 5 young men and women flew over from the West City. There were 3 men and 2 women. They looked to be in their 20s. They were tall and had an outstanding temperament. Greetings, Elder. The 5 of them landed in front of the old man in red and bowed. The old man in red did not open his eyes. He said in a hoarse voice, "Where are the trial badges?" The 5 of them quickly took out the trial badges from their arms. The old man in red scanned them with his divine consciousness and fell silent again. The 5 of them also put away the trial badges and stood aside silently. Whoosh! After a while, a few people flew out from the South City and North City. There were a total of 6 people in the South City and 4 in the North City. All of them looked young. The men were handsome and the women were youthful and beautiful. After showing their trial badges, they stood aside and waited silently like the 5 people from the West City. At the same time. East City. Why are you 2 only here now? In the sky above the city lord's mansion. Zhang Sanbao looked at Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin who were flying over and frowned. Zhao Xiaojin said indifferently, "Isn't there still some time before sunrise? What's the hurry? The appointed time is indeed sunrise, but we can't let them wait. At least during the first meeting, we have to leave a good impression on the Hall of the Exalted Elders." Zhang Sanbao was helpless. "All right, let's go," Zhao Xiaojin said with a hint of impatience in his tone. "Okay." Zhang Sanbao nodded. At that moment, the 3 of them flew side by side toward the central city. Zhang Sanbao glanced at Qin Feiyang and then at Zhao Xiaojin. He seemed to have something to say. "Brother Zhang, you can speak your mind." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Zhang Sanbao was stunned. He did not expect to be seen through. He could not help but smile and said suspiciously, "I remember that the one who participated in the trial was your brother. Why is it you now?" "My brother is going to train and left the Alliance capital, so I'm taking his place." Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. "You're taking his place?" Zhang Sanbao was stunned. Could anyone take his place in the trial of the Hall of the Exalted Elders? "Why are you gossiping like a woman?" Since Elder Qin allowed him to replace him, it means that he has the qualifications. Zhao Xiaojin glanced at Zhang Sanbao and said calmly. Yes, it's my fault, Zhang Sanbao nodded repeatedly. When Qin Feiyang saw this scene, he couldn't help but laugh in his heart. Even a fool could tell that Zhang Sanbao had feelings for Zhao Xiaojin. But the falling flowers are willing, but the heartless flowing water is heartless. Zhao Xiaojin's thoughts were all on Yi Tian. As for Zhang Sanbao's identity, he more or less knew that Zhang Sanbao was the son of the East City Lord. He had a cultivation base at the great circle of the imperishable realm and had comprehended a type of law. It could be said that, in the alliance capital, Zhang Sanbao could be considered someone with a certain status and position. Unfortunately, his love rival was Yi Tian. As the eldest grandson of the Vice Alliance leader and the top genius of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, Zhang Sanbao was nothing compared to him. Actually, this had nothing to do with Qin Feiyang, and he was too lazy to ask about it. Now, he only hoped that Zhang Sanbao wouldn't hate him. Because he had been living in Zhao Xiaojin's house all these years, he was worried that Zhang Sanbao would misunderstand and see him as a love rival. At that time, there would definitely be a lot of trouble. About 100 breaths. The three of them finally entered the sky above the square. Hee. Those who are related to young Master Yi Tian are indeed different, making everyone wait here. It doesn't matter if we wait, but it's not appropriate to let the Hall of the Exalted Elders wait like this. After all, even young Master Yi Tian himself has to be polite to the elders. As soon as the three of them arrived, the dozen people from the West City, North City, and South City all sneered. "I'm sorry." Zhang Sanbao smiled apologetically. One of the young men in black said, "Hurry up, don't waste everyone's time, we're all very busy." Sorry. Zhang Sanbao said apologetically and took out his trial badge. Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin also took out their badges. The old man in red finally opened his eyes, looked at the badges of the three, and said, "Where's Mo Wuhui?" Zhang Sanbao said respectfully, "Elder, Mo Wuhui went out to gain experience, so Mo Wuyuan took his place." What? The Hall of the Exalted Assessment actually went out to gain experience. Who does he think he is? So disdainful of the Hall of the Exalted? Besides, this is the Hall of the Exalted Assessment, how can others take his place? What a joke, do you think this is child's play? The people from the other three districts immediately sneered again. Zhao Xiaojin raised his eyebrows and said, "Do you have nothing better to do? You've taken care of yourself, and now you want to take care of others?" Hee, people related to young Master Yi Tian, even the tone of their speech is different. A red-clothed woman chuckled. Who knows me, Zhao Xiaojin, doesn't know that I always speak like this. What does it have to do with brother Yi Tian? I think you're just looking for trouble. Why don't you stop talking nonsense? If you're not happy, come out and fight. Zhao Xiaojin looked at the woman in red provocatively. A cold light flashed in the woman in red's eyes, and she sneered and said, "We don't dare. If anything happens and young Master Yi Tian investigates, we can't bear the responsibility." "Shut up if you don't dare." Zhao Xiaojin shouted coldly without mercy. "You," the woman in red's face turned cold. "Enough." At this time, the elder of the Hall of the Exalted spoke. Everyone immediately fell silent. The elder glanced at Qin Feiyang and said indifferently, "Since you are replacing your brother, and you only have the cultivation of great success Undying Realm, the fact that old man Qin gave you the trial badge means that you also have the qualifications. Work hard." "Yes, elder." Qin Feiyang nodded. "All right then, give it to this old man." The elder of the Hall of the Exalted glanced at the crowd, then turned and flew to the center of the central district. More than a dozen young men and women from the West City, North City, and South City glanced at Qin Feiyang and quickly followed. I didn't expect him to be only at the Immortal Realm. Yes. The Immortal Realm in the Immortal Realm is qualified for the trial. It seems that he can't be underestimated. Not necessarily. Maybe it's Elder Qin who asked him to make up the number. More than a dozen young men were secretly discussing. At the rear, Qin Feiyang and the other two were still walking side by side. I knew something would happen. Zhang Sanbao sighed. We're all of the same age. Why are you afraid of them? Zhao Xiaojin rolled his eyes at Zhang Sanbao. I'm not afraid. I'm worried that they'll join forces. Look, 5 people from the East City, 6 from the South City, and 4 from the North City. We have the least people in the East City, only 3 of us. This situation is already very bad for us. If they join forces, our situation will be even more worrying. Zhang Sanbao was worried. Useless. Zhao Xiaojin pursed his lips. Well, I'm useless. I'm useless. Zhang Sanbao shook his head helplessly and turned to look at Qin Feiyang. Brother Wu Yuan, I also know some things about you. You should also know the rules of the trial, right? You know about me? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes. I heard that it's the first time you and your brother came to the Alliance capital. Zhang Sanbao smiled. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with an imperceptible light. He smiled and said, I didn't expect Brother Zhang to be so well informed. It was obvious. This Zhang Sanbao had investigated him and Madman. After all, I'm in the city lord's mansion. News comes quickly. Since you don't know the rules, then I'll tell you. Zhang Sanbao smiled. I'd like to hear the details. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. The training ground is in a space that is isolated from the rest of the world. It is said that there are a lot of divine objects and beasts inside. It is a place where opportunities and dangers coexist. So when we go in later, I really don't want to be enemies with people from the other 3 districts. Because if we are targeted by them, then the chances of us passing the trial will be very slim. Zhang Sanbao sighed. Listening to what you said, those who participate in the trial can kill each other. Qin Feiyang was stunned. That's right. Do as you wish. Zhang Sanbao nodded. This isn't right. We're all from the Alliance capital. It's not easy to comprehend the power of law. If we die because of the trial, wouldn't it be a loss for our rogue cultivator alliance? Qin Feiyang frowned. That's right. Every person who has comprehended the power of law is as rare as a phoenix feather or a Qilin horn. The higher-ups will naturally not let us suffer any casualties. Zhang Sanbao nodded. Qin Feiyang was stunned and asked suspiciously, if there are no casualties, then what's the point of this trial? Of course there's a point. This is a trial that tests one's combat awareness, ability to deal with things, and brains. In short, whether you pass the trial or not, as long as you get the trial badge, you can enter the Hall of the Exalted. However, the treatment for those who pass the trial and those who don't are very different. Zhang Sanbao explained. So that's the case. Qin Feiyang suddenly understood and asked curiously, what's the difference between those who pass the trial and those who don't? Those who pass the trial can directly enter the core of the Hall of the Exalted and enjoy the best cultivation resources and environment. You should know that the Hall of the Exalted has a time array. And those who pass the trial can directly enter the space-time law to cultivate. Zhang Sanbao said. I see. Qin Feiyang nodded and asked, what about those who don't pass the trial? Those who don't pass the trial can only stay in the outer sect of the Hall of the Exalted. Do you know how the core disciples addressed the outer sect disciples? Handyman. In other words, handyman. I don't know what you and Xiaojin are thinking, but I really don't want to stay in the outer sect and be ordered around as a handyman. Zhang Sanbao shook his head. There's actually such a rule. Qin Feiyang frowned. It seemed that in order to get close to the deputy chief, he had to become a core disciple. Don't worry, no matter how they unite to deal with us, I will definitely lead you to pass the trial and become a core disciple of the Hall of the Exalted. Zhao Xiaojin said coldly. Ah. Qin Feiyang and Zhang Sanbao looked at each other and shook their heads with a bitter smile at the same time. This woman was really domineering. Looking at her, she didn't put the people from the other 3 districts in her eyes at all. Chapter 31:21. The central city district was made up of many houses. Every single house was extremely large. Even the smallest house was several miles in size. There were many halls, high and low, and they were magnificent. According to the secular world, if the 4 major districts were slums, then the central city district was the rich district. Although there weren't any spacious streets or bustling streets, every place was luxurious. Because the people who lived in the central city district were all core figures of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. They were either powerful or had extraordinary abilities. In short, none of the people who could live here were ordinary people. The group passed through the city, and about 100 breaths later, they appeared in the sky above a square. The square was about 10,000 feet wide, and there was a teleportation passage that looked like a spatial rift. On one side of the square, there was a stone tablet. The stone tablet was engraved with the words "Training Grounds" in a flamboyant style. The elder led a group of more than 10 people to the square and said indifferently, "This is the entrance to the trial ground." Everyone looked at the entrance curiously. I won't say much about the rules. Whether you can pass the trial will depend on your own ability. There will be people waiting for you on the other side. Go in. With that, the elder turned around and retreated to the side. The people from the West City, South City, and North City looked at each other and stepped into the space-time passage one after another. Be careful. Zhang Sanbao looked at the backs of those people and secretly warned with a serious expression. Zhao Xiaojin glanced at Zhang Sanbao, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "After you go in, don't run around. Stay by my side at all times." Okay. Qin Feiyang replied secretly. She was going to protect him. Sure. Coincidentally, he was too lazy to make a move. However, when he entered the space-time passage, Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with a hint of suspicion. Inside the space-time passage, everything was pitch black. However, Qin Feiyang could clearly feel that his body was shuttling through at a terrifying speed. Xiaojin, didn't your father say that it's impossible to activate altars or space-time teleportation in the Alliance? But why is there a space-time passage here? Qin Feiyang asked secretly. Zhao Xiaojin transmitted, it said that this space-time tunnel was personally set up by the Alliance Master. I see. Qin Feiyang nodded in understanding. The Azure Wave Snow Mountains barrier was created by the Alliance Master, so he naturally had the ability to set up a space-time passage here. Just now, the Elder of the Hall of the Exalted said that someone is waiting for us on the other side. Then what does it mean? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. The entrance and exit of the trial grounds are in different places. In other words, the entrance is in the central city, and the exit is somewhere else. Zhao Xiaojin thought to himself. Does that mean that the Hall of the Exalted is not in the League capital? Qin Feiyang was bewildered. Yes, I didn't. But it's also in the Kanglan Snow Mountain, in a place west of the city. You'll know when you pass the trial. Zhao Xiaojin thought to himself. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. It seemed that what he knew was only the tip of the iceberg of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Ahead. Finally, a ray of light appeared. As they continued forward, the light became more and more dazzling. After a few breaths, they flew out of the space-time passage and landed in the sky above a majestic mountain range. As far as the eye could see, they were surrounded by an endless mountain range. The towering peaks were like giant swords, towering into the sky and exuding a majestic aura. The majestic mountain ranges were like giant dragons lying on the ground. However, there were not many plants in the mountains, and the spiritual essence here was very thin. It could only be described as desolate. The scariest thing was that even though there were countless fierce beasts here, it was very quiet. Although we have brought a lot of divine crystals, the spiritual essence here is too thin. It's best not to engage in meaningless battles here, so as not to waste divine power. Zhang Sanbao whispered. If the spiritual essence was too thin, they could only rely on divine crystals and divine power pills to replenish their divine power. Qin Feiyang did not mind. There were countless divine crystals in the Black Tortoise realm. As for divine power pills, as long as he wanted them, Dan Wangkai could make him a pile in minutes. However, the atmosphere of the trial grounds made him feel a little uncomfortable. It was too quiet. Let's go. Zhao Xiaojin glanced at the dozen people in the other 3 districts and flew forward. Qin Feiyang and Zhang Sanbao followed closely behind. At the same time, the dozen people in the other 3 districts looked at each other, and their eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness. Swish! Following closely behind. More than a dozen people moved out in unison. They used auxiliary divine techniques and surrounded Qin Feiyang and the other 2 like lightning. Zhao Xiaojin raised his eyebrows and stopped in the void. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Were all the people in the alliance capital so direct? They attacked as soon as they came in. Zhang Sanbao's expression changed slightly, and he hurriedly said with a smile, "Everyone, what is the meaning of this? It has nothing to do with you." A purple-clothed youth in the West City spoke. "It has nothing to do with me." Zhang Sanbao was stunned. So they were here for Zhao Xiaojin and Mo Yuanchu. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed and he said with a smile, "I don't think we've done anything to offend you." "No, you haven't. But we just don't like you and don't want you to pass the trial." The red-clothed woman who had been competing with Zhao Xiaojin looked at Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin and sneered. "Don't like you? This reason is a bit lame. We're with Zhang Sanbao, but you don't target him and only target us. I'm afraid it's not as simple as you say." Qin Feiyang said with a smile. "You're quite smart." The red-clothed woman looked at Qin Feiyang mockingly. Zhao Xiaojin frowned and said, "Cut the crap. What do you want? Just say it. I want you all to die here." The red-clothed woman's eyes were filled with killing intent, and her divine power roared out as she slapped toward Zhao Xiaojin. "You think you can do that?" Zhao Xiaojin smiled coldly, raised her jade-like hand, and punched. Although it looked thin and weak, it contained terrifying power. Boom! The fist and the palm met. Both of them took a few steps back at the same time. Because the red-clothed woman was also at the perfect undead realm, their cultivation and strength were the same. "How dare you be so arrogant by yourself?" The purple-clothed young man in the west side of the city roared, and he also dove and punched toward Zhao Xiaojin. He was also at the perfect undead realm. Zhao Xiaojin stabilized her body, and instead of retreating, she moved forward, and her divine power surged out of her palm. Boom! The fist and the palm collided again. After 2 consecutive exchanges, Zhao Xiaojin's face couldn't help but turn pale. "Genius girl of the east side of the city, I'd like to see what you're capable of." The red-clothed woman sneered, and immediately attacked Zhao Xiaojin with the purple-clothed young man. "Brother Wu Yuan, let's retreat first." Zhang Sanbao pulled Qin Feiyang and retreated far away. Qin Feiyang looked at Zhang Sanbao and frowned. "Brother Zhang, are you really letting a woman fight them alone?" "What else? There are so many of them. We can't beat them at all. But don't worry, I'll try my best to talk to them." Zhang Sanbao comforted him, then looked at the other 13 people in the 3 districts and said anxiously, "Everyone, can we talk nicely?" "It's none of your business, shut up." The black-clothed young man shouted. Qin Feiyang looked at Zhang Sanbao's performance and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. It was no wonder that Zhao Xiaojin didn't like him, and it was also no wonder that Zhao Yang didn't like him. This person was really useless. The woman he liked was already in danger, and he still wanted to negotiate. To put it nicely, it was called being indecisive and looking at the big picture. To put it bluntly, it was called having no backbone and being timid. How could such a person make a woman like him? Looking at Zhao Xiaojin again. Even if it was 1 against 2, she wasn't at a disadvantage at all. The terrifying battle fluctuations were earth-shattering, and the mountains and rivers below collapsed one after another. This battle awareness is not bad. There was a trace of praise in Qin Feiyang's eyes. In comparison, Zhao Xiaojin's battle awareness and experience were above the purple-clothed young man and the red-clothed woman. However, it was hard to say who would win or lose. After all, neither of them had used all their strength yet. Brother Zhang, they are so bold. Aren't they afraid of being punished by the Hall of the Exalted Elders? Qin Feiyang suddenly transmitted his voice. Zhang Sanbao said to himself, what happens here, the outside doesn't know at all. So you're saying that no matter what we do here, no one will know? Qin Feiyang was stunned. That's right. So this is the problem I'm worried about. If they really fall out, even if they kill us, they can completely blame it on the beasts in the trial ground. At that time, we will all die in vain. Zhang Sanbao said gloomily. Is that so? Qin Feiyang nodded. Zhang Sanbao said angrily, if we can use the heaven-defying artifact here, I have some confidence. What do you mean? Qin Feiyang was stunned. It means that this trial ground can't activate the heaven-defying artifact and heaven-defying divine technique. Zhang Sanbao said in a deep voice. There is such a rule. Qin Feiyang was surprised. Yes. Zhang Sanbao nodded. What about the power of law and other divine techniques and artifacts? Qin Feiyang was curious. As long as it's not a heaven-defying artifact or divine technique, everything else is fine. Zhang Sanbao said. So that's the case. Then, this is considered a good thing. Qin Feiyang muttered. Good thing. Zhang Sanbao was stunned. Yes. Since you said so, you should have a heaven-defying artifact on you. Since you have it, I'm afraid they have 1 or 2 too. If they can really activate the heaven-defying artifact, then our situation will be even worse, right? Qin Feiyang laughed secretly. Zhang Sanbao heard this and thought carefully before nodding, that makes sense. Qin Feiyang said, all right, we can't sit back and do nothing. Quickly go and help. But, Zhang Sanbao was a little hesitant. You're at the peak undead stage. What are you afraid of? Qin Feiyang frowned. But the other party also has a peak undead stage, and there are 6 of them. Zhang Sanbao glanced at the other side, at the 13 people who were also watching the battle, and frowned. Among the 13 people, 7 of them were at the peak undead stage like the purple-clothed young man and the red-clothed woman, and the other 6 were at the peak undead stage. Chapter 3, Release at 10 a.m. Chapter 31-22. Looking at the overcautious Zhang Sanbao, Qin Feiyang completely gave up. This person was hopeless. Originally, he wanted to help Zhang Sanbao. He could predict that Yi Tian would not be together with Zhao Xiaojin, so Zhang Sanbao still had a chance. However, the prerequisite was that he had to be like a man and face all dangers. However, he did not expect it to be like this. With his personality, he could do a small business, but it would never be possible for him to do anything big. Boom! The battle between Zhao Xiaojin and the purple-clad youth became more and more intense. The 3 of them had already begun to use their divine techniques and divine artifacts. With their status, they naturally had paragon-grade divine artifacts and divine techniques. The collision of divine techniques, divine artifacts, and divine power caused the world to dim. The beasts below were also alarmed. However, other than a few beasts, most of them were watching the battle from afar. They did not seem to be afraid. As expected of the East City's genius girl. She can actually fight with the 2 of them until now. A muscular young man spoke. He was at the peak of the undying realm and was 2 meters tall. He was burly and valiant like a giant. That's just a struggle before death. A green-clad youth next to him laughed sinisterly. He was about 1.7 meters tall, and his body was so thin that he was just skin and bones, just like a bamboo pole. His eyes were even more peculiar. They were long and narrow like a snake's eyes. They were suffused with a cold light. That's right, a struggle before death, the muscular young man laughed loudly. His voice was like thunder. Boom! However, just as the muscular young man laughed, the law of light appeared along with the sound of a sword. Zhao Xiaojin grabbed the sword of light and slashed at the purple-clad youth and the green-clad youth. Law of light, sword of light. The two men's expressions changed abruptly. Caught off guard, they hurriedly retreated and narrowly avoided this fatal sword strike. A struggle before death, are you talking about me? Zhao Xiaojin pointed her sword at the muscular young man and the green-clad youth. Yes, I'm talking about you. The muscular young man nodded. All right then, come and die. The sword of light in Zhao Xiaojin's hand trembled, and a destructive light immediately rushed toward the muscular young man. Do you really think you're invincible just because you have the law of light? Defeat us first. The purple-clothed young man and the red-clothed woman shouted as they activated their power of law at the same time. The purple-robed youth waved his hand and a fiery light rushed out. In the next moment, a scarlet-red battle blade appeared. As the woman in red raised her hand, a wave of water surged and turned into a 3-foot-long divine bow. The first profundity of the laws of fire, blade of fire. The first profundity of the law of water, water god's bow. Humph. You dare to be arrogant with just the first profound? Zhao Xiaojin snorted coldly and no longer held back. He immediately activated his third profound, holy radiant sword. Clang! After a series of clashes, the blade of fire and the water god bow shattered on the spot. The purple-clothed young man and the red-clothed woman were also injured by the terrifying sword chi and were forced to retreat. In just an instant, their bodies were drenched in blood. It really is the third profound. When the young man and the others saw this, their eyes could not help but darken. They had already heard about the battle with Feng Wanyun back then. This woman was indeed not easy to deal with. The purple-clothed young man and the red-clothed woman looked at each other, their eyes filled with unwillingness and jealousy. They were all from the younger generation of the Alliance capital. In terms of age, they were all older than Zhao Xiaojin. However, they had only comprehended the first profound, but Zhao Xiaojin had already taken out the third profound. Let me do it. The young man took a step forward, and a terrifying power of law immediately surged out. The surrounding void immediately began to collapse. This is, Qin Feiyang's pupils constricted. This power of law was formless and colorless, but one could clearly feel a vigorous aura. That's right. This was the power of law. If it was 300 years ago, I would definitely not be your match because my power of law had only comprehended the second profound. But now, if I want to kill you, it will be as easy as flipping my hand. The young man smiled proudly, and his 2-meter-tall body began to expand. The violent power around him became more and more terrifying. Finally, a giant that was 10,000 feet tall appeared before everyone's eyes. That's right. It was 10,000 feet tall. It was like a towering mountain. 10,000 feet tall divine body. The young man opened his mouth, and his voice was deafening like thunder. As his voice fell, his mountain-like giant hand covered the sky as it slapped toward Zhao Xiaojin. The void and the earth shattered and collapsed. It was like the scene of the end of the world. Not to mention his 10,000 feet tall divine body, even in the hands of his giant beast, Zhao Xiaojin was like a tiny ant. But Zhao Xiaojin did not retreat at all. The holy radiant sword shone brightly as it slashed toward the giant hand. Clang! The young man's giant hand stopped in the void, but it was immediately shattered by the holy radiant sword. Zhao Xiaojin also spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale. 10,000 feet tall divine body. This is the third profound of the power of law. At this moment, his physical body and strength have reached the level of a high-grade heaven-defying divine object. In addition, his cultivation is higher than Xiaojin's by a small realm, so Xiaojin is not his match. Zhang Sanbao said in a deep voice. So, the profound of the power of law is mainly to strengthen the physical body and strength? Qin Feiyang asked. Although he had already grasped the power of law, he still did not understand the profound of the power of law. That's right. The first profound, a 100 feet tall divine body, is equivalent to a low-grade heaven-defying divine object. The second profound, a 100 feet tall divine body, is equivalent to a mid-grade heaven-defying divine object. The third profound, a 10,000 feet tall divine body. The fourth profound, a 10,000 feet tall divine body, is comparable to a pinnacle heaven-defying divine object. I'm not his match. Although I'm also at the peak imperishable stage, I've only comprehended the first profound of the power of law. Anyway, I can't continue like this, or else you'll really die. Zhang Sanbao panicked. Go to hell. At this moment, the young man's roar was like the sound of a heavenly bell. The giant hand that had been blocked by the holy radiant sword slammed toward Zhao Xiaojin again. Boom! Zhao Xiaojin smashed into the ground like a meteor. A huge pit appeared. Zhao Xiaojin lay at the bottom of the pit, his body covered in blood. Xiaojin! Zhang Sanbao roared. You'd better not move, or we'll kill you even if you're the son of the East City Lord. The man in green looked at Zhang Sanbao coldly. Zhang Sanbao shrank his neck, his eyes full of fear. Qin Feiyang glanced at Zhang Sanbao. It seemed that he couldn't count on this person, so he had to do it. Swish! He teleported and landed beside Zhao Xiaojin, smiling. Are you okay? I won't die yet. Zhao Xiaojin got up with Qin Feiyang's help, took out a divine life pill, and threw it into his mouth. You can't even protect yourself, and you still have the mood to care about her. The young man looked down at Qin Feiyang from above, his eyes filled with contempt. Qin Feiyang looked up at the young man and smiled. The people you want to kill are Zhao Xiaojin and my brother, right? That's right. It's your brother, but since your brother went to train, we can only kill you first to collect some interest. The young man said. I understand. Qin Feiyang nodded. Understand what? The young man was stunned. Qin Feiyang said, Feng Huanyun should be behind all of this. The young man's pupils constricted. The man in green and the others couldn't help but look at each other and frown. Are you wondering how I thought of this? It's actually very simple. This is the first time we brothers have come to the Alliance capital. Other than Feng Huanyun, we haven't offended anyone else. I was wondering why Feng Huanyun didn't come looking for trouble with us after being humiliated by Zhao Xiaojin and my brother. Could it be that he has changed his mind and doesn't want to bother with us? So he's waiting for the trial to open and tampering with the trial grounds. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Huh, smart. But smart people don't live long. The robust young man roared with laughter as he withdrew his hand that was like a mountain, and then he clenched it into a fist that shattered space and the earth as he smashed it towards Qin Feiyang and the young man. Step back. Qin Feiyang was about to make a move when Zhao Xiaojin, who was behind him, pushed Qin Feiyang away. Qin Feiyang wasn't prepared at all. He almost stumbled and fell. What are you doing? He steadied himself and looked at Zhao Xiaojin in confusion. With your cultivation level, you're not enough to fill the gaps between his teeth. Zhao Xiaojin snorted coldly. Ah. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Alright, don't cause trouble for me. Just step aside and watch. Zhao Xiaojin waved her hands. Create trouble. Qin Feiyang felt somewhat helpless. She was really a domineering woman. However, this feeling of being protected was quite satisfying. Although Zhao Xiaojin was a woman. Alright. He would watch then. Since she was so confident, she should have a trump card. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang returned to Zhang Sanbao's side in an instant. She's too stubborn. Zhang Sanbao frowned. I quite admire her. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. How can you still smile? I'm almost worried to death. Zhang Sanbao glared at Qin Feiyang angrily. We'll cross the bridge when we get there. There's nothing to worry about. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Bang! Click! In the blink of an eye. The burly young man's huge fist had already landed. The law of force, Zhao Xiaojin looked up at the fist and sneered. It's indeed very powerful. However, you don't have the ability to kill you. Bang! As soon as she finished speaking, Zhao Xiaojin's aura suddenly soared. In just an instant, her cultivation level rose to the perfected indestructible realm. This, Zhang Sanbao, the man in green and the rest were instantly stunned. When did she break through to the perfected indestructible realm? I see. Qin Feiyang also had a look of realization. It turned out that she was hiding her cultivation level. It was no wonder that she was fearless. However, Zhao Xiaojin had personally said that she had just broken through to the perfected indestructible realm. How did she enter the perfected indestructible realm so quickly? Clang! Just as everyone was feeling bewildered, Zhao Xiaojin waved her hands. The law of light surged and the holy light sword appeared again. She grabbed the holy light sword and leaped into the sky. Her aura was like a rainbow and she slashed at the burly young man's fist. Chapter 31-23. Boom! Along with an earth-shattering explosion, the holy radiant sword and the muscular youth's giant hand collided. A wave of destructive energy instantly spread out in all directions with this place as the center. The void shattered and the ground collapsed. Qin Feiyang and the others could not help but retreat. Ah, the muscular youth screamed in pain. A wound had appeared on his giant palm that was comparable to a high-grade godly object. Blood was gushing out. But at the same time, a crack also appeared on the holy radiant sword. Zhao Xiaojin also had blood dripping from the corner of her mouth. Because the muscular youth's body was also a third profound, its power was comparable to the holy radiant sword. In addition, both of their cultivations were the same, so it was a tie. The tip of the holy radiant sword kept colliding with the muscular youth's palm. Dazzling sparks shot out. The muscular youth was clearly made of flesh and blood, but he was actually so powerful. The law of force was indeed extraordinary. Suppress! The muscular youth roared. His voice was like thunder, shaking the heavens and earth. A terrifying power surged out from his palm. It was like a mountain that covered the sky. Zhao Xiaojin, who was below, was like a tiny ant. However, Zhao Xiaojin did not show any signs of being suppressed. The law of light frantically surged into the holy radiant sword. Sword Qi roared in all directions and fought with the muscular youth. Genius girl, I can't accept this. What are you dawdling for? Kill her. The woman in red stared at Zhao Xiaojin. Her eyes were filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred as she roared at the muscular youth. The muscular youth also felt a great sense of humiliation. He was a 7-foot-tall muscular man, but he could not deal with a woman. The anger in his heart was like a volcano that could not be controlled. The law of force continuously surged into his arm. The power that poured out became more and more terrifying. However, no matter how hard he tried, he could not suppress Zhao Xiaojin. In the hearts of you men, should women be naturally weaker than you? What a laughable thought! Zhao Xiaojin smiled coldly. Then, she suddenly retreated. She used an auxiliary technique and instantly appeared behind the muscular youth. Although the young man's body had grown larger, his movements were not slow at all. He quickly turned around and punched Zhao Xiaojin. In this world, no one can be underestimated, especially us women. Zhao Xiaojin's eyes flashed with a cold light. He grabbed the radiant saint's sword with both hands and dodged slightly, dodging the young man's fist. His aura roared as he slashed at the young man's left shoulder. Clang! Rumble! The two met in an instant. The radiant sacred sword shattered with a loud bang. Zhao Xiaojin was also sent flying, his face pale. But at the same time, the burly young man also let out a painful howl. A wound appeared on his left shoulder, and blood spurted out. The next moment, the entire arm fell off from the shoulder and smashed into the ground with a loud boom like a mountain. That was right. Although Zhao Xiaojin was heavily injured, one of the muscular young man's arms was also chopped off. The blood from the wound poured out like a waterfall and dyed the sky red. Stinking bitch! I'll kill you! The young man was enraged. He raised his other arm and smashed it towards Zhao Xiaojin. Your mouth is so dirty. Zhao Xiaojin stabilized herself in the air and dodged the young man's arm. She soared into the sky. In just an instant, she was above the young man's head. The radiant sacred sword appeared once again. Die! With a fierce roar, she flipped in the air. Her feet were facing up while her head was facing down. She grabbed the radiant sacred sword tightly with both hands and stabbed it towards the young man's head like a meteor. The young man had already lost an arm. The other arm that was aimed at Zhao Xiaojin did not have time to retract. So now, he did not have time to counterattack. No, feeling the bone-piercing sharpness, he could not help but roar in horror. However, Zhao Xiaojin was not moved at all. The radiant sacred sword went straight for the young man's head. Whether it was a human or a beast, the head was more fragile than other places. If Zhao Xiaojin really succeeded in this attack, then the young man would definitely be annihilated in body and soul. A wave of fear drowned the young man. However, at this moment, the green-clothed man and the others who were observing looked at each other and soared into the sky at the same time. Boom! All kinds of law profundities were activated in an instant as they attacked Zhao Xiaojin. You guys are too despicable. Zhang Sanbao roared. Zhao Xiaojin was also shocked. She did not expect these people to be so shameless as to attack her together. Do you only know how to shout here? Don't you know that this is a sign of incompetence? Qin Feiyang glanced at Zhang Sanbao, shook his head, and sighed. Zhang Sanbao was a little angry, but before he could speak, he saw Qin Feiyang erupt with a monstrous aura. The law of thunder surged out. At the top of the clouds, thunder dragons appeared, exuding a destructive heavenly might. The third profound, the wrath of thunder. This is, the group of people immediately raised their heads and looked at the thunder dragons in surprise. With me here, do you have the right to hurt her? Qin Feiyang was incomparably domineering. The thunder dragons instantly merged together and turned into a huge dragon. It roared from the sky and charged towards the green-clothed man and the others. Damn it! This is the law of thunder, the third profound. The green-clothed man roared. What? It's the third profound again. The expressions of the others changed. They no longer cared about the life or death of the young man and joined forces to attack the thunder dragons. Zhao Xiaojin also looked at the thunder dragons in shock, and then killing intent surged in her eyes. The tip of the sacred radiance slammed into the young man's head. Crack! With an ear-piercing crack, the young man's head began to crack. At this moment the fear in the young man's heart rose to an unprecedented level. Don't kill me! He bellowed. But it was useless. Zhao Xiaojin roared and poured the law of light into the sacred radiance, causing it to become even sharper than before. Crack! With another crisp sound, the young man's skull shattered on the spot. The holy radiance's body-tempering sword directly entered the young man's head. Go to hell. Just as the hilt of the sacred radiance was about to plunge into the young man's head, Zhao Xiaojin slammed her palm against the hilt. The sacred radiance was like an arrow, piercing through the young man's sea of consciousness and shattering his soul. It then pierced through his neck, pulverizing his organs, and came out from below. Ah! The young man screamed at the sky, his remaining arm flailing wildly in an attempt to kill Zhao Xiaojin. But how could Zhao Xiaojin let him have his way? In a few moments, she had retreated far away. After struggling for a while, the young man collapsed to the ground with a loud bang, dying on the spot. At the same time, the green-clothed man and the others clashed with the thunder dragons. More than a dozen people had joined forces, and all of them had activated their law of intent. In fact, 3 of them had even comprehended the second profundity of their laws. But even so, they did not immediately destroy the thunder dragons. The thunder dragons were like the incarnation of the god of thunder, terrifying beyond compare. Even though they were destroyed in the end, the dozen or so people suffered varying degrees of injuries. If not for their cultivation being higher than Qin Feiyang's, this attack would have been enough to kill them all. Brother Fateless, you, on the side, Zhang Sanbao was also dumbfounded. He had never imagined that this person whom he had always looked down upon would actually be the same as Zhao Xiaojin and have already comprehended the third profundity. However, compared to Zhang Sanbao, Zhao Xiaojin was even more shocked. Because Zhang Sanbao did not know the law of war. But Zhao Xiaojin knew. The second profound of the law of war and the third profound of the law of thunder. This bastard had hidden it so deeply. After so many years, there was no trace of it at all. On the other side, the green-clothed man and the others were also staring at Qin Feiyang. They had never imagined that the person they had constantly mocked and ridiculed from the beginning had hidden such terrifying strength. Below, the young man's vitality had completely dissipated. When they saw the young man's corpse, the group of people was stunned again. A complete imperishable stage cultivator who had comprehended the third profound of the law of strength had died at Zhao Xiaojin's hands just like that? How could this woman be so strong? Whoosh! Zhao Xiaojin took a deep breath and swallowed another divine life pill. She landed beside Qin Feiyang and said in a low voice, "I'll settle this with you later." Settle this with me? Qin Feiyang was stunned. What was going on? In any case, he was the one who had saved her. Not only did she not say a word of gratitude, she actually wanted to settle this with him. Women were indeed unreasonable creatures. Zhao Xiaojin ignored Qin Feiyang and looked up at the green-clothed man and the others. She sneered and said, "You should be prepared to die." Die? If Mo Fateless hadn't stopped us, you would be a corpse now. The green-clothed man laughed sinisterly. You have the nerve to say that? Even if Mo Fateless attacked, there were only 2 of us. What about you? 3 districts, a total of 15 people. This is your ability? Zhao Xiaojin's face was full of disdain. Don't be arrogant. The red-clothed woman shouted. That's right. Although Mo Fateless has comprehended the third profound, you still have to die. The green-clothed man laughed sinisterly. Is that so? Then let me have a look. Zhao Xiaojin waved her hand and the holy light sword appeared. She took a step forward and charged towards the green-clothed man and the others. However, at the same time, the green-clothed man and the others sneered even more. Qin Feiyang looked at this scene and couldn't help but frown. What's going on? They were all so fearless. Could it be that they still had some tricks up their sleeves? Or was there someone among them who was hiding their cultivation? Just as Qin Feiyang was deep in thought, he suddenly felt a trace of killing intent behind him. He was suddenly shocked. But before he could react, he felt a pain in his lower abdomen. He looked down and saw a blood-stained sword tip on his lower abdomen. Blood flowed down the tip of the sword drop by drop. Sorry. It was also at this moment. An apologetic voice sounded behind Qin Feiyang. Chapter 31-24. Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. He turned around and saw Zhang Sanbao looking at him with a sneer. He looked at Zhang Sanbao's hand and saw that he was holding a thin sword. Why? Qin Feiyang did not expect that Zhang Sanbao would sneak an attack on him. Zhao Xiaojin also noticed the commotion behind him. He stopped suspiciously and turned around to look at Qin Feiyang. When she saw the tip of the sword on Qin Feiyang's lower abdomen, her expression changed drastically. She said furiously, "Zhang Sanbao, what are you doing?" "I'm sorry, Xiaojin. I have to do this." Zhang Sanbao smiled faintly. Whoosh! Zhao Xiaojin's face darkened. She landed in front of Qin Feiyang. Zhang Sanbao pulled out his long sword and retreated quickly. "Take this." Zhao Xiaojin took out a primordial sea divine pill and quickly fed it to Qin Feiyang. At the same time, the man in green and the rest also surrounded them. Their faces were full of cold smiles. Zhao Xiaojin glanced at the group of people and then looked at Zhang Sanbao. Her face was full of disappointment. "You don't have to show such an expression. If it was in the past, I would definitely feel guilty. But now, it doesn't matter." Zhang Sanbao shook his head and smiled. "Why?" Zhao Xiaojin asked. She found Zhang Sanbao's actions more unacceptable than Qin Feiyang. Yes. She did not like Zhang Sanbao and could not stand his weakness. But from the bottom of her heart, she did not hate Zhang Sanbao. In her heart, she had always treated Zhang Sanbao as a friend. Although she was usually a little cold, this was her character. Apart from a few people, she did not like to deliberately show her feelings for others. To put it simply, if Zhang Sanbao was in trouble, she would definitely not sit back and do nothing. In other words, she was cold on the outside but warm on the inside. Putting all these aside, they were all from the East City and they had been friends for so many years. Zhang Sanbao should not have done this. Therefore, this made it very difficult for her to accept. "Why?" Zhang Sanbao muttered and suddenly looked up and laughed maniacally. "Answer me." Zhao Xiaojin shouted angrily. "Okay. I will answer you. After so many years, you should understand my feelings for you. I liked you so much, took care of you so much, and even took care of your family, but how did you repay me? It's one thing for her to be indifferent to me, but sometimes she even looks at me with disdain. How did I make you look down on me? Just because you comprehended the third profound? Just because you have Yi Tian as your backer?" Zhang Sanbao's face looked extremely ferocious. "I've never looked down on you." Zhao Xiaojin shook his head. "Of course you would say that now." "Yes. I hate because of love. I refuse to accept this. I've done so much for you. Why did you run into Yi Tian's arms in the blink of an eye? Just because he is the eldest grandson of the Vice Alliance Master. The #1 monster of our Rogue Cultivator Alliance. In terms of family background and talent, I can't compare to him. But in terms of feelings for you, he can't even compare to 1,000th of mine. The most hateful thing is that you treat Mo Wuyuan and Mo Wuhui better than you treat me. Why? So, when Feng Wanyun found me and asked me to participate in this plan, I agreed. I want you to know that you can only be my woman for the rest of your life. Even Yi Tian can forget about touching you." Zhang Sanbao laughed maniacally. His eyes were filled with the desire to possess Zhao Xiaojin. "Why do we have to be together? Isn't it good to be friends?" Zhao Xiaojin frowned. "Friends? Can you stop joking? No matter what, I must have you. Feng Huanyun also agreed to give you to me. As long as you are willing to be my woman, we will let you go. But Mo Wuyuan must die. Zhang Sanbao laughed sinisterly. It was impossible in the past, and it's even more impossible now. Because now, you make me feel disgusted. Zhao Xiaojin's face was filled with disgust. Huh, I feel disgusted. Can I be more disgusted than you? Seeing that Yi Tian is the grandson of the Vice Alliance Master, you shamelessly took the initiative to approach him. Isn't this because of his identity and status? Don't make yourself sound so noble. You are just a smelly bitch who uses your body to earn fame and fortune. Zhang Sanbao sneered. Zhao Xiaojin was ashamed and angry. He actually thought of her as such a woman. She liked Yi Tian, but she had never forced him, let alone took the initiative to approach him. She could tolerate betrayal, but she could not tolerate someone insulting her like this. Zhao Xiaojin raised her arm and pointed her sword at Zhang Sanbao. The holy light sword shone brightly. Want to kill me? Zhang Sanbao sneered. That's right. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. Huh, it seems that you are really a woman who is difficult to tame. But it doesn't matter. There is still a long time before the trial. After I cripple your cultivation, I will slowly train you. Not only do I want you to be my woman, but I also want you to be my plaything. Zhang Sanbao smiled sinisterly. A monstrous killing intent erupted. This is the law of slaughter. Qin Feiyang's pupils constricted. However, what was even more shocking was yet to come. As the law of slaughter emerged, a huge blood-colored barrier appeared and instantly enveloped Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin. Killing intent domain. Qin Feiyang was shocked. That's right. This is the third profundity of the law of slaughter, killing intent domain. Zhang Sanbao laughed sinisterly. When did you comprehend the third profundity? Zhao Xiaojin also had a look of shock. After knowing each other for so many years, she naturally knew Zhang Sanbao's strength. He had only comprehended the first profundity. You must be very surprised. Actually, I have already comprehended the second profundity, but like you, I didn't say it out loud. Just a few years ago, I comprehended the third profundity. So now, you, who are seriously injured, are not my opponent at all. Zhang Sanbao laughed loudly. I have already comprehended the second profundity, Zhao Xiaojin muttered. Do you know why I hid it from you? Actually, it's all for you. Zhang Sanbao said. For me? Zhao Xiaojin raised her eyebrows. With my cultivation and talent, I could have entered the Hall of the Exalted long ago. But I hope to go in with you. I wanted to take care of you and protect you. So I have been waiting. But I didn't expect that what I waited for would be your intimate relationship with Yi Tian. I waited bitterly for you for so many years, but in exchange, this is the result. If it were you, wouldn't you go crazy? Zhang Sanbao roared. Bloody storms suddenly roared out of the killing intent domain, exuding an apocalyptic aura. Zhao Xiaojin immediately used the law of light to resist with all her might. Women are all snobbish. They follow whoever has status and identity. Looking at you, my heart is filled with hatred and hatred. Zhang Sanbao let out a furious roar, and the countless crimson tornadoes immediately swarmed toward Zhao Xiaojin and Qin Feiyang. Zhao Xiaojin's face sank. She slashed the radiant sacred sword to the left, immediately shattering several storms. She pulled Qin Feiyang and fled to the left. Escape. In the killing intent domain, I am the ruler. Zhang Sanbao laughed coldly. Bloody storms suddenly appeared in front of him, sweeping over with monstrous divine power. Zhao Xiaojin protected Qin Feiyang while waving the radiant sacred sword, constantly attacking the storms, forcibly opening a bloody path. You won't be able to escape. But at this moment, The azure-robed man and the others also activated their law intent and charged forward. Scram! Zhao Xiaojin roared. The radiant sacred sword flew out of her hand, crushing the storms and heading straight for the azure-robed man and the others. Still so fierce. The group of people was shocked and hurriedly dodged. But at the same time, Zhang Sanbao came from behind with the god-killing sword. Kill them! The azure-robed man and the others roared ferociously. With just you? Zhao Xiaojin roared angrily. She spat out a mouthful of blood essence, and her appearance instantly aged. Immediately after, she dragged Qin Feiyang and instantly swept out of the killing intent domain. Without looking back, she passed through the beast horde in front of her and disappeared into the distant mountains. What? The azure-robed man and the others watched this scene with their mouths agape. Why did she suddenly become so fast? Was it a heaven-defying assistive divine art? But wasn't it impossible to activate heaven-defying divine items in this trial ground? Brother Zhang, what's going on? The group of people came back to their senses and turned to look at Zhang Sanbao. I don't know either. Zhang Sanbao was also a little dazed. He had never seen such a method from Zhao Xiaojin before. Then what should we do now? The red-robed woman asked. What else can we do? Chase after them. Zhang Sanbao shouted and immediately dispersed the killing intent domain. He used the supreme-level assistive divine art and rushed in the direction where Qin Feiyang disappeared. The azure-robed man and the others looked at each other and hurriedly chased after them. The surrounding beasts couldn't help but retreat to the side, their eyes full of suspicion. The humans who came to the trial ground this time were all crazy. In the past, the humans who came here were usually looking for treasures in the trial ground, but the people who came this time were actually killing each other. There was no lack of sovereigns among the beasts here. Therefore, since the beasts didn't block the way, Zhang Sanbao and the others didn't dare to take the initiative to provoke them. Chapter 31-25. Let's talk about Qin Feiyang and Zhao Ying. Zhao Xiaojin's current speed was quite terrifying. Before the beasts they encountered along the way could react, the two of them had already passed through the sky. Some of the sovereign realm beasts noticed the two of them. But even the sovereign realm beasts couldn't catch up with them. Qin Feiyang was shocked. How did Zhao Xiaojin's speed become so fast? According to the level of a heaven-defying divine technique, Zhao Xiaojin's current speed was definitely comparable to a peak-level heaven-defying divine technique. At the same time, the change in Zhao Xiaojin's face also surprised Qin Feiyang. At this moment, where was Zhao Xiaojin's previous beauty? Her hair was white, her face was old, and her face was full of wrinkles. She looked like an old woman in her 70s or 80s. Swish. About half an hour passed. Qin Feiyang's qi had long been repaired. Zhao Xiaojin looked behind and finally stopped. She landed on a mountain peak and fell to the ground weakly. How are you? Qin Feiyang's face changed slightly, and he quickly squatted on the ground and asked. Excessive vitality consumption. Even her voice had become extremely hoarse and weak. Qin Feiyang took out a divine life pill with 5 dragon-shaped pill qi and put it into Zhao Xiaojin's mouth. The majestic vitality immediately nourished Zhao Xiaojin's damaged body. The weak aura also gradually stabilized. Could it be that this is a forbidden technique? Qin Feiyang breathed a sigh of relief and asked suspiciously. That's right. At the cost of vitality, it's comparable to a peak-level heaven-defying assistance divine technique. Zhao Xiaojin nodded and slowly sat up with the help of Qin Feiyang. As expected. Qin Feiyang muttered. He had seen this kind of forbidden technique on Wang Zicheng before. However, the level of the two was different. They shouldn't be able to catch up so quickly. Let's rest here first. Zhao Xiaojin said. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded and then asked, how long do you need to recover? As long as there are enough divine life pills, I can recover in less than 2 days. Zhao Xiaojin said. Qin Feiyang nodded and smiled, don't worry about the life divine pellet, I have plenty of them. Me too. But how many more tricks are you hiding? The second profundity of the laws of war, the third profundity of the laws of thunder, I can't help but wonder if you're hiding the power of other laws. Zhao Xiaojin frowned and sized up Qin Feiyang, as if he wanted to see through Qin Feiyang. Stop joking. With my cultivation, I'm already very lucky to be able to comprehend 2 types of laws. Qin Feiyang was speechless. That's true. Zhao Xiaojin nodded, then pouted and said, anyway, you lied to me, so you have to compensate me for my mental damage. She had always thought that Qin Feiyang's strength was not much, but she did not expect him to be so strong. If it wasn't for Zhang Sanbao's sneak attack, they definitely wouldn't have had to flee. Ugh. Qin Feiyang was stunned and said with a bitter smile, can you not pout like this? You look a little scary. An old woman in her 70s or 80s pouted. No matter how one looked at it, it was a little awkward. You still despise me? Aren't I just trying to save you? Zhao Xiaojin glared at him angrily. Okay. It's my fault, my fault. Qin Feiyang hurriedly waved his hand, then sat down beside Zhao Xiaojin and asked, what do you plan to do with this Zhang Sanbao? Kill. Zhao Xiaojin said without hesitation, the killing intent in his eyes undisguised. But he's the son of the East City Lord after all. Killing him is not a good thing for you, your brother, and your parents. Qin Feiyang said. Anyway, no one knows what happened in the trial ground. When the time comes, I'll tell them that he was killed by the fierce beasts in the trial ground. Zhao Xiaojin sneered. What if they come to the trial ground to investigate? After all, there were many fierce beasts watching us fight with them. Qin Feiyang said. It doesn't matter if they investigate. Anyway, they attacked first. We're doing it out of self-defense. After Zhao Xiaojin finished speaking, she immediately looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a frown, no, I say, why are you being so overcautious and indecisive? I'm thinking for you, okay? I don't care at all. Qin Feiyang was helpless. At most, he would shed all pretense of cordiality, reveal his identity, and have a big fight with them. I thank you for your kind intentions. Zhao Xiaojin rolled his eyes at Qin Feiyang. After a moment of silence, he lamented, after so many years of friendship, I'm actually not as reliable as you, someone I've just met. How sad. We've also known each other for more than 300 years, okay? And we live under the same roof. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. That's true, but how many times have we met in the past 300 years? Ever since you guys went into seclusion, you haven't appeared once. To be honest, if my brother works half as hard as you two, I'll be satisfied. Zhao Xiaojin shook his head and sighed. Everyone has their own ambitions. Since Zhao Yang likes this kind of lazy life, let him be. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. You don't understand. Although everyone in our alliance is from the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, the competition between each other is also quite intense. Especially family background. Take my father for example. His talent is not bad, but because he doesn't have a family background, he hasn't been valued. If he was given the best resources, he would have stepped into the peak dominator realm long ago. Zhao Xiaojin sighed, a trace of sadness on his face. Is that why you're working so hard? Qin Feiyang asked. Since my brother isn't working hard, I can only work hard and strive to create the best life for my family. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. Women aren't inferior to men. Good job. Qin Feiyang gave her a thumbs up. Then, he said, then you rest first. I'll go around and see if there's any danger. Be careful. Zhao Xiaojin warned. Qin Feiyang smiled, got up, walked to the edge of the cliff, and looked down. Zhao Xiaojin looked at Qin Feiyang, and a trace of a smile flashed across his eyes. Although she didn't have much contact with Qin Feiyang, she felt an inexplicable sense of security in her heart. When she thought of Zhang Sanbao, she couldn't help but feel sad. Below, there were endless mountains and rivers. The plants were withered and yellow, and the essence energy was weak. Qin Feiyang silently released his divine perception and searched to the greatest extent. He saw many beasts. However, these beasts didn't discover them, so they were quite quiet. Suddenly, his divine will locked onto the mountainside below him, and he discovered that there was a cave there. Swish! Qin Feiyang took a step forward and landed in front of the cave. A pungent smell immediately rushed toward him. The cave was a little dim, and the ground was overgrown with weeds. There seems to be a beast. Qin Feiyang muttered and stepped into the cave. The inside of the cave was hundreds of feet wide. When Qin Feiyang entered the cave, he found a giant python in the middle of the cave. The giant python was red all over and coiled on the ground. There were magma-like snake scales on its body. Its aura was very weak and it seemed to be sleeping. Qin Feiyang looked at the giant python suspiciously. By right, this kind of creature should be very sensitive. However, he had already entered the cave and it didn't discover it. He walked closer and observed carefully. Suddenly, he looked at the top of the giant python's head, only to see that there were two horns on its head. This seems to be, that's right, dragon horns. Qin Feiyang was shocked and immediately ran to the other side to look at the belly of the giant python. At that moment, his eyes lit up. Under the belly of the giant python, there were 5 bulging meat lumps. This is evolution. Qin Feiyang muttered. That's right. This giant python was in the process of transforming. Those 5 meat lumps were the dragon claws that were about to come out. His luck was not bad. He actually encountered a transformed giant python. Once the transformation was successful, it was equivalent to a fish leaping through the dragon gate and turning into a divine dragon. A divine dragon, for anyone, had a fatal temptation. Especially young people. To be able to find a divine dragon as a mount was a very prestigious and dignified thing. Qin Feiyang observed for a while and found something wrong. When the 5-clawed golden dragon was transforming, he saw it at the scene. It didn't seem to be so weak. It seemed that something was wrong. Wait a minute. Could it be that the transformation was in trouble? Qin Feiyang quickly immersed his mind into the black tortoise realm, found the 5-clawed golden dragon and explained the situation. As a divine dragon, the 5-clawed golden dragon definitely knew the transformation process better than him. The 5-clawed golden dragon pondered for a while and said, "It is indeed transforming, but it should have encountered some difficulties and is stuck in the transformation process. If you don't help it, it will definitely die. If it died, it would be death. Then how can I help?" Qin Feiyang was suspicious. "You let me out." The 5-clawed golden dragon said. "You can come out." Qin Feiyang was stunned. In this trial ground, it was impossible to use heaven-defying divine arts and artifacts. No. The Black Tortoise Realm was not a heaven-defying divine object. It was an independent world, so it should not be restricted. At that moment, with a thought, the 5-clawed golden dragon immediately appeared beside him. Just like before, it maintained its human form, middle-aged appearance, wearing a golden robe, and exuding a natural domineering aura. That's it. Qin Feiyang pointed at the giant python. The 5-clawed golden dragon looked at it for a while and said, "This is transforming into a fire dragon." Fire dragon. Qin Feiyang muttered. Speaking of the fire dragon, he couldn't help but think of the fire dragon in the miracle. Where was that beast now? Just as Qin Feiyang was deep in thought, the five-clawed golden dragon waved its hand, and a strand of divine dragon power entered the giant python's body. The giant python's body immediately trembled, and its weak aura immediately began to strengthen. Seeing this, the five-clawed golden dragon waved its hand again, and a few strands of divine dragon power entered the giant python's abdomen. Crack! At that moment, under the giant python's abdomen, the snake scales on the 5 large lumps of flesh began to shatter. Then, the flesh also began to collapse, and blood flowed out. Along with the blood, 5 fiery red dragon claws appeared one after another. At the same time, firmament. The originally clear sky was suddenly filled with blood-red clouds from all directions, followed by the sound of thunder. Zhao Xiaojin, who was sitting on the mountain peak recuperating, opened his eyes in surprise and looked up at the sky. This seemed to be heavenly tribulation. Chapter 31:26. Why is there a heavenly tribulation? Zhao Xiaojin was shocked. She quickly got up and left the mountain peak to avoid being affected by the heavenly tribulation. At the same time, inside the cave abode. Let's go! The 5-clawed golden dragon shouted. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and sent the 5-clawed golden dragon to the black tortoise realm before rushing out of the cave abode. I'm here. Zhao Xiaojin's voice sounded. Qin Feiyang looked up and immediately teleported to Zhao Xiaojin's side. What's going on? Zhao Xiaojin was puzzled. It's really fate. Qin Feiyang smiled and explained the situation in the cave. As for the 5-clawed golden dragon, he naturally ignored it. Transformation. Zhao Xiaojin was shocked. She actually encountered such a thing. Boom! Crack! The heavenly tribulation in the sky became more and more terrifying. Bolts of blood-colored lightning danced in the heavenly tribulation clouds like pythons. Zhao Xiaojin looked at the sky and asked, "What's the cultivation of that python?" Cultivation? Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned and shook his head. I didn't pay attention to that. Zhao Xiaojin instantly rolled his eyes when he heard this, and he said, "You're helping it when its cultivation hasn't even been confirmed? What if it returns the favor with enmity? Before I left, it was still in a coma. It probably doesn't know that I helped it." Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly. All right. I'll take it that you're doing a good deed without leaving your name. Zhao Xiaojin was speechless. However, she actually encountered such a good thing. If the python really succeeded in transforming, how impressive would it be if she kept it by her side? Crack! The first heavenly tribulation descended. The terrifying heavenly might came like a tide, covering the sky and shattering the earth. The surrounding beasts also fled frantically. And that giant mountain also shattered under the heavenly might. The giant python emerged from the dust and smoke. At this moment it was still unconscious. Zhao Xiaojin sized up the python and said in shock, "It has a sovereign cultivation." Sovereign? Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned. After taking a closer look, it indeed had a sovereign cultivation. He seemed to be a half-step sovereign. Zhao Xiaojin asked suspiciously, "It's not prepared at all, so how is it going to transcend the tribulation?" Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed and he said with a smile, "Why don't you go and help it?" Me? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. He looked at the heavenly tribulation with fear in his eyes. What a joke. This was a heavenly tribulation. Although she was born in the Alliance capital and had seen a lot, it was still her first time encountering a heavenly tribulation. Even this heavenly might was not something that she could forcefully resist. Although the heavenly tribulation is terrifying, it can temper the body. The strength of the body is also a great method. Qin Feiyang smiled. I know that. I heard that 2 people called Qin Feiyang and Madman Mo have recently appeared in Wind Sea City. Their physical bodies can even take on autarch-level artifacts. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. You've heard of them? Qin Feiyang was surprised. Even big brother Yi Tian was defeated by this Qin Feiyang, how could I not know? Zhao Xiaojin snorted coldly. Qin Feiyang was stunned. He sized up Zhao Xiaojin and said, judging from your expression, you seem to hate Qin Feiyang a little. Not hate, but rather hate. Zhao Xiaojin said. He doesn't seem to have done anything crazy, right? Qin Feiyang was a little speechless. He was inexplicably hated by someone. I just don't like him. So what? Zhao Xiaojin glared at Qin Feiyang. Not much, not much. Qin Feiyang hurriedly waved his hand and looked up at the giant python. The heavenly tribulation had already descended, but there were still no signs of waking up. Let's go, I'll help you temper your body. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed slightly, he grabbed Zhao Xiaojin and rushed towards the heavenly tribulation. Are you crazy? Zhao Xiaojin's face turned pale. Don't panic. I have mastered the law of lightning. This heavenly tribulation doesn't pose much of a threat to me. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and landed on top of the giant python. He warned, you stay here. After saying that, he let go of Zhao Xiaojin and rushed into the sky to meet the heavenly tribulation. Looking at Qin Feiyang's back, Zhao Xiaojin's eyes were a little dazed. She suddenly felt that this ordinary-looking man was quite charming. Back to Qin Feiyang. Looking at the heavenly tribulation descending from the sky, he was actually still a little nervous. Because the giant python's heavenly tribulation was different from his heavenly tribulation. Back then, when he was transcending the heavenly tribulation, it was a half-step indestructible heavenly tribulation. But now, the giant python was a half-step sovereign. There was an entire realm difference. Although his cultivation had stepped into the greater success indestructible after all these years, he was still quite a distance away from the half-step sovereign. Although he had a certain immunity to the heavenly tribulation after mastering the law of lightning, the difference was too great, so he couldn't help but be a little nervous. He was worried that he couldn't withstand the heavenly tribulation with his current ability. However, he had to give it a try. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feiyang and the heavenly tribulation collided with a bang, and a tearing pain immediately swept over him. As expected. Even though he had mastered the law of lightning, because of the difference in cultivation, he couldn't do it as easily as when he was transcending the heavenly tribulation. However, it was still within the range of tolerance. The law of lightning rolled out and fused with the heavenly tribulation. Because only after his law of lightning fused with the heavenly tribulation could he control it. Boom! In the sky, the second heavenly tribulation began to brew. Qin Feiyang also finally fused the law of lightning and the heavenly tribulation into one. Then, under his control, the heavenly tribulation turned into thousands of wisps and surged toward Zhao Xiaojin bit by bit. Because if the entire heavenly tribulation blasted toward Zhao Xiaojin, she definitely wouldn't be able to withstand it. Therefore, it had to fuse into Zhao Xiaojin's body bit by bit. So powerful. At the same time, Zhao Xiaojin looked at Qin Feiyang's methods, her eyes full of shock. It was the first time in her life that she had seen someone who could control the heavenly tribulation. She immediately felt a trace of envy in her heart. If she also mastered the law of lightning, would she not have to fear the heavenly tribulation like this person? What are you doing? Hurry up and get ready. Qin Feiyang looked at Zhao Xiaojin's thoughtful expression and couldn't help but feel angry. How could she still be in the mood to let her imagination run wild at a time like this? Zhao Xiaojin came back to her senses and hurriedly calmed herself down to welcome the arrival of the heavenly tribulation. Boom! The first wisp of lightning power descended and slowly approached Zhao Xiaojin's arm. Although it was only a small wisp, Zhao Xiaojin felt a great threat. She didn't dare to be careless at all. When that small wisp of lightning power fused with Zhao Xiaojin's arm, a terrifying power immediately exploded. Her entire arm was immediately lacerated, and flesh and blood splattered everywhere. This made Zhao Xiaojin immediately feel afraid. Hold on. Don't panic, quickly use this power to temper your body. If you can't take it, take the divine life pill. Qin Feiyang shouted. Okay. Zhao Xiaojin nodded and immediately sat cross-legged in the void. She gritted her teeth and endured the pain, absorbing the energy of the heavenly tribulation and constantly tempering her body. Crack. The second heavenly tribulation descended again. Qin Feiyang went all out to block the heavenly tribulation and quickly merged with the law of lightning. Zhao Xiaojin finally finished absorbing the first wisp of lightning power. She could clearly feel that whether it was her body or strength, they were both becoming stronger. After tasting the sweetness, she worked even harder. She took out a divine life pill and threw it into her mouth to welcome the second wisp, the third wisp, and the fourth wisp of lightning power. In fact, compared to Qin Feiyang in frenzy, she was much more fortunate. Because back then, Qin Feiyang in frenzy didn't have anyone to help them and had to withstand the complete heavenly tribulation one after another. There was a world of difference between a complete heavenly tribulation and a wisp of lightning energy. And now, Qin Feiyang divided the heavenly tribulation into thousands of wisps, and its power naturally dropped to the lowest. In other words, the damage Zhao Xiaojin suffered now was only 1 in 10 million or even 1 in 10,000 of a complete heavenly tribulation. If she couldn't even withstand this, then she wasn't worthy of being called a genius. It was also because Zhao Xiaojin's absorption speed was too slow that more and more heavenly tribulation accumulated above Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang also tried to see if he could use the heavenly tribulation of a half-step ruler to raise his body to the heaven-defying level. However, when he quickly absorbed a complete heavenly tribulation, his body and strength didn't increase at all. In other words, after reaching the supremacy level, the heavenly tribulation was indeed unable to continue increasing the strength of the body and strength. But the energy contained in the Python heavenly tribulation really gave him a fright. In the past, whether it was his own tribulation, the fire lotus or the five-clawed golden dragon's tribulation, the energy contained in the heavenly tribulation was far inferior to this Python's heavenly tribulation. He could conclude that, without absorbing all the heavenly tribulation, Zhao Xiaojin's body and strength could be raised to the supremacy level. Looking at the increasing power of lightning above Qin Feiyang, Zhao Xiaojin's competitive spirit was stimulated. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that. Right now, the power of lightning above Qin Feiyang could be described as a pool of lightning. Because up until now, 15 heavenly tribulations had descended. And Zhao Xiaojin hadn't even finished absorbing the energy of a single heavenly tribulation. In comparison, she suddenly felt that she was too weak. You can increase the intensity. I can take it. She looked at Qin Feiyang and said. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. The power of lightning increased from 1 to 10 and entered Zhao Xiaojin's body. The intense pain also doubled. One had to admit that Zhao Xiaojin's willpower wasn't bad. She gritted her teeth and endured. Boom! After absorbing the energy of a single heavenly tribulation, her body and strength were raised to the level of a low-grade divine artifact. As expected, Qin Feiyang muttered. The energy contained in the heavenly tribulation of a half-step ruler was indeed different. Increase the intensity. Zhao Xiaojin roared. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and increased the 10 strands of lightning energy to 50 strands. Because as Zhao Xiaojin's body became stronger, her endurance would also gradually increase. But gradually, Qin Feiyang started to be unable to bear it. Because the power of the heavenly tribulation became stronger, the immunity to the laws of lightning also became weaker and weaker. About an hour later, the 70th heavenly tribulation descended. The power of lightning above Qin Feiyang could no longer be described as a pool of lightning. It could be described as a sea of lightning. Waves of lightning surged in the sky like angry waves, emitting a destructive aura. Pooh! As the 70th heavenly tribulation descended, Qin Feiyang spat out a mouthful of blood. His hands were shattered, and his body cracked inch by inch. Remaining 2. Released at 9 and 10. Chapter 31-27. Are you okay? Zhao Xiaojin's expression changed slightly. Don't worry about me. Qin Feiyang looked up at the sky with a serious expression. There were still 29 heavenly tribulations left. It seemed that it would be difficult to deal with them. In less than an hour, Zhao Xiaojin had already absorbed 15 bolts of tribulation energy. Her body and strength had also been upgraded to the level of a supreme-grade divine artifact. She was one step away from reaching the pinnacle level. Hearing Qin Feiyang's words, Zhao Xiaojin calmed down and continued to refine. Who are you? Suddenly, a doubtful voice sounded. Qin Feiyang looked down and saw the giant python sleepily opening its eyes and looking up at the two of them. You're not sleeping, are you? Qin Feiyang's mouth twitched. Yes. I was seriously injured by my opponent during the transformation and became very weak, so I have been sleeping. Who are you? Are you transcending the heavenly tribulation? The giant python looked at Qin Feiyang with difficulty. Ah! Qin Feiyang was astonished. She was so sleepy. No. But the next moment, the giant python got up and looked at the heavenly tribulation. The aura of the heavenly tribulation was locked onto it, which meant that it was transcending the heavenly tribulation. What was going on? This was its heavenly tribulation. Why were there 2 humans on it? Especially that man, who had blocked all the heavenly tribulations. His cultivation level was only at the phenomenal imperishable stage. How could he have such powerful means? Boom! The 71st heavenly tribulation descended. Qin Feiyang immediately looked up at the heavenly tribulation with uneasiness in his eyes. In just a few seconds, the heavenly tribulation descended. Qin Feiyang's body and mind trembled. More and more cracks appeared on his body, and his blood dyed the sky red. If it weren't for his bloodline power's self-healing ability and the melting of his fire of life, his body would have been torn apart. But even so, his heart became heavier and heavier. He hurriedly took out a large handful of divine life pills and stuffed them into his mouth. Majestic energy exploded and quickly repaired his body. He's so resilient. The giant python looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. Then, it looked at Zhao Xiaojin with a stunned expression. He was actually using the power of the heavenly tribulation to temper his body. These humans must be crazy. How could he do such a crazy thing? Crack! The 72nd, 73rd, and 74th heavenly tribulations fell one after another. Qin Feiyang had reached his limit. Retreat! Zhao Xiaojin's physical body and strength broke through once again, stepping into the pinnacle stage. She was overjoyed. Who would have thought that he would actually obtain such a great fortune from this trial? However, when he saw Qin Feiyang's condition, he couldn't help but change his expression. If things continued like this, Qin Feiyang would be doomed. Retreating now was the wisest choice. In any case, the accumulated heavenly tribulation was enough to upgrade her physical body to the Supreme Being level. Don't retreat. Once you retreat, I'm done for. When the giant python heard Zhao Xiaojin's words, it immediately roared. It wasn't confident that it could survive the remaining 20 or so heavenly tribulations. In your dreams, you want us to carry it while you sit down and enjoy the fruits of our labor. Don't forget that this is your heavenly tribulation. Qin Feiyang was speechless. We're all brothers. What's there to distinguish between yours and mine? You're treating me like an outsider. The giant python smiled without blushing. Brother? The corner of Qin Feiyang's mouth twitched. It was really friendly. The giant python roared, Brother, I have high hopes for you. You can do it. Do your best. Scram! Qin Feiyang shouted angrily. It really didn't know what being polite was. However, this time, helping Zhao Xiaojin improve her physical body and strength gave him some inspiration. Why not use the same method to help others strengthen their physical body and strength? For example, Zhao Tailai, Tang Hai, the Blood Kirin, the White-Eyed Wolf, the 54 Divine Generals, and so on. If everyone's physical body could be improved to the supreme level, then the overall strength of the Black Tortoise world would rise to another level. Thinking of this, Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He transmitted his voice, Senior Brother Crazy, quickly change your appearance. What? Crazy's voice sounded in his mind. Don't say it. Hurry up. Qin Feiyang urged. It's definitely not a good thing. Crazy muttered and took a disguise pill, turning into Mo Wuhui's appearance. Qin Feiyang's mind moved, and Crazy immediately appeared beside him. Damn it, are you trying to kill me? Crazy's expression changed drastically when he saw this. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and help. Qin Feiyang said. Mo Wuhui. Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. Why would he appear? Didn't he leave the Alliance capital to train? Crazy ignored Zhao Xiaojin and immediately activated the Law of Lightning. He joined forces with Qin Feiyang to resist the heavenly tribulation. With Crazy's help, Qin Feiyang's pressure was reduced. So both of you have mastered the Law of Lightning. The giant python nodded in realization. So you were hiding here. However, at this moment, a roar sounded. Boom! Following closely, a terrifying aura rolled over from afar. What the hell is that? Qin Feiyang and the other two's expressions changed. The giant python's pupils also shrank. Very soon, a huge ferocious beast roared and appeared in their line of sight. Its size was very strange. Lion head, deer horns, tiger eyes, elk body, dragon scales, dragon tail. Its entire body was like white jade, pure and flawless. This seems to be, Qin Feiyang's mind shook. This is the white jade Qilin. The white jade Qilin, fire Qilin, and blood Qilin belonged to the Qilin race. He didn't expect that there would be a natural divine beast in this trial ground. This thing, I like it. Crazy's eyes lit up. Like it? Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned. He turned to look at Crazy, only to see him staring at the white jade Qilin with a fiery gaze. Obviously, Crazy took a fancy to this white jade Qilin and wanted to subdue it. However, this white jade Qilin's cultivation was not simple. Moreover, it was a divine beast with an orthodox bloodline. It would be difficult for Crazy to subdue it. Because here, he couldn't use any heaven-defying divine artifacts. This was a huge obstacle. Unless he outsmarted it. The giant python looked at the white jade Qilin, its eyes filled with anger. You are really haunting me. What do you mean? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. It is it that took advantage of this emperor's transformation to sneak attack me, seriously injuring me. It wasn't easy for this emperor to escape here, but I didn't expect it to find me again. The giant python said. So that's how it is. Qin Feiyang suddenly understood and smiled. But now, you don't have to worry, it doesn't dare to approach the heavenly tribulation. As expected. When the white jade Qilin was about to approach, it suddenly stopped and stood not far away, staring at the giant python, Qin Feiyang and the other two. Come over if you have the guts. The giant python looked at it provocatively. You are courting death. The white jade Qilin's eyes shone fiercely as it swooped down towards the giant python. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and a heavenly tribulation shot out. The white jade Qilin's expression changed and it hurriedly retreated. Then, it looked at Qin Feiyang in shock and anger and roared, "I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. If you don't come over, I naturally won't attack you." Qin Feiyang smiled. Crazy saw that the white jade Qilin was so afraid of the heavenly tribulation and a smile flashed across his eyes. "I have an idea." "Use the heavenly tribulation?" Qin Feiyang asked secretly. "We really have a telepathic connection." Crazy chuckled. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at him and said, "Don't be in a hurry. Let's wait for the heavenly tribulation to end first." Now, he had to go all out to face the remaining heavenly tribulation. Zhao Xiaojin was also a little flustered. "What are you panicking for? Don't you still have us?" Crazy shouted. "Humph." Zhao Xiaojin glared at Crazy and continued to temper its body. Crack. Soon, the 85th heavenly tribulation descended. Even if Qin Feiyang and Crazy worked together, they were still unable to hold on. Both of them were covered in blood. On the other hand, the giant python had it the easiest. The white jade Qilin didn't go forward and looked coldly at Qin Feiyang and Crazy. It didn't believe that the two of them could really withstand all the heavenly tribulation. As long as they couldn't, the two of them would definitely be destroyed. Once the two of them died, the giant python definitely wouldn't be able to withstand it with its little ability. At that time, it would die under the heavenly tribulation without needing to do anything. Another few hundred breaths passed. The 90th heavenly tribulation descended. Qin Feiyang and Crazy had already reached their limits. "No. If this continues, we'll all be finished," Crazy said solemnly. Qin Feiyang said, "If we can activate the battle character art, we can give it a try." "Then hurry up and activate it," Crazy urged. "You don't know, but in this trial ground, it's impossible to activate a heaven-defying divine item." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "Damn, then this will be troublesome." Crazy raised his eyebrows. Suddenly, his eyes lit up and he sent a voice transmission, "Why don't we bring the giant python to the Black Tortoise world?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. This was a good idea. After entering the Black Tortoise world, whether it was him or Crazy, they could go all out. "All of you, get rid of this immediately. The power of the heavenly tribulation has already reached the level of a greater success ruler. The Black Tortoise world will be fine, but I can't guarantee the lives of the Black Tortoise world." The little boy's voice suddenly sounded in Qin Feiyang and Crazy's minds. Qin Feiyang and Crazy looked at each other and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Crack. The 91st heavenly tribulation descended. Crazy gritted his teeth, stared at the heavenly tribulation, and said solemnly, "Then let's make a bet." "Okay." Qin Feiyang nodded. They were stuck at the third profundity of the law of lightning, unable to break through. Now that the heavenly tribulation happened, they might as well find a breakthrough in the heavenly tribulation like back on Divine Dragon Island. The two of them immediately consumed the divine life pill and sent the universe ring to the ancient castle. Following that, the two of them took the initiative to face the heavenly tribulation with the law of lightning. As expected of Crazy, the giant python grumbled. Zhao Xiaojin and the white jade Qilin's eyes were also trembling. How could there be such a crazy person in this world? Wasn't this courting death? Boom! The heavenly tribulation struck, and Qin Feiyang and Crazy's bodies were instantly torn apart. "What are you doing? Run!" Zhao Xiaojin roared. But the two of them turned a deaf ear to him, calmly comprehending the power and mysteries of the heavenly tribulation. Lightning continued to surge in the surroundings, emitting an apocalyptic aura. Although Qin Feiyang and Crazy's bodies were being destroyed, if one observed carefully, they would discover that their law of lightning was rapidly fusing with the heavenly tribulation. Chapter 31-28. So that's how it is, gathering connate chi in the body, combining the good fortune of heaven and earth, controlling lightning in the palm of your hand, summoning the 9 heavens' divine thunder. The moment their bodies were completely destroyed, the two of them finally understood. The divine souls floating in the lightning slowly gathered together and transformed into a human form. The two of them stood in the lightning as if they had merged with the heavenly tribulation, and it no longer caused them any harm. What's going on? Zhao Xiaojin, the giant python, and the white jade Qilin looked at Qin Feiyang and Madame in surprise. Madman glanced at Qin Feiyang and said angrily, "You really aren't lagging behind at all. Aren't you the same?" Qin Feiyang chuckled. "Get lost. In terms of the power of laws, I am stronger than you." Madman glared at him angrily. "That was in the past, now I am stronger than you." Qin Feiyang smiled proudly. "Don't be so proud." Madman snorted coldly. "Why did you change your appearance?" Zhao Xiaojin's voice suddenly sounded. Qin Feiyang and Madman were stunned. They looked at each other and cursed in their hearts. After their bodies were shattered, only their divine souls were left. The effect of the illusion form pill had also lost its effect. Now, the two of them had revealed their true appearances. "You are," Zhao Xiaojin stared at the two of them and suddenly thought of something. She exclaimed, "You are Qin Feiyang and Madman Mo." Ah! Qin Feiyang and Madman were stunned. This woman actually knew what they looked like. Crack! At this time, another heavenly tribulation descended from the sky, crazily striking down. However, it was no longer a threat to Qin Feiyang and Madman. Soon, the heavenly tribulation ended. All the heavenly tribulation turned into lightning and gathered around Qin Feiyang and Madman. Madman said with a sound transmission, "Old Qin, do you think we should kill them?" "What are you thinking about? She is Zhao Eryong's daughter. She will find out sooner or later anyway." Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes. "Impressive, impressive. My two brothers, I'm definitely going to befriend you." The giant python laughed loudly and soared into the sky. Firmament. A beam of divine light descended and fused into the giant python's body. This was the auspicious light after the heavenly tribulation, and it was extremely beneficial to the python. When the auspicious light fused into the python's body, the python immediately completed its final transformation. A 10,000 feet long fire dragon was born, and its dragon's might roared in all directions. Furthermore, its weak body had also fully recovered. "Ha, little Qilin, let's fight again." The fire dragon laughed wildly and pounced towards the white jade Qilin like lightning. "Afraid of you?" The white jade Qilin snorted coldly, and its body swelled with the wind. In the blink of an eye, a 10,000-meter-long giant beast appeared and started fighting with the fire dragon. Qin Feiyang and the madman looked at each other and took a step forward at the same time. They landed in front of Zhao Xiaojin with the sea of lightning. Zhao Xiaojin quickly got up and retreated while looking at the two of them in panic. "Little girl, since you've already seen through our identities, we can only kill you to silence you." The madman laughed sinisterly. "It's just two divine souls, why would I be afraid of you?" Zhao Xiaojin mustered up her courage and said angrily. "If you're not afraid, why are you retreating?" The madman looked at her teasingly. Zhao Xiaojin's face turned pale. "Enough. Stop teasing her." Qin Feiyang smiled and looked at Zhao Xiaojin, "Don't be afraid, not only will we not hurt you, we will also protect you." "Why?" Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. "Come with us to a place. While we reconstruct your body, we will help you temper your body. We will also tell you the details." Qin Feiyang said. "I'm not going." Zhao Xiaojin shook her head. "If you don't believe us, you should at least believe your father. Your father also knows our identities." Qin Feiyang smiled. My father knows too. Zhao Xiaojin was shocked. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. I say, don't dawdle. If you provoke me, I will rape you first and then kill you. The madman glared fiercely at Zhao Xiaojin. Zhao Xiaojin shrunk her neck. Cough cough. Qin Feiyang coughed dryly and said, Senior brother, can you be gentler? Don't scare her. If you don't scare her, will she be obedient? The madman pursed his lips and grabbed Zhao Xiaojin's arm. What are you doing? Let go of me. Zhao Xiaojin immediately roared, her face full of fear. The madman turned a deaf ear and dragged Zhao Xiaojin to Qin Feiyang's side. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the three of them and Lei Hai disappeared without a trace. The fire dragon and the white jade Qilin were fighting fiercely and did not notice the disappearance of the three of them. Black Tortoise Realm. Above the Devil's Land. This is. Zhao Xiaojin looked at the medicine field below in surprise. This is my spatial divine item. Qin Feiyang smiled. So big? Zhao Xiaojin was shocked, then frowned and said, That's not right, in this trial ground, it's impossible to open a spatial divine item. Is that so? Qin Feiyang was stunned for a moment, then said with a smile, Then you can treat this as a different spatial divine item. Different, isn't it still a spatial divine item? Something's wrong, something's really wrong. Zhao Xiaojin shook her head. There are all kinds of strange things in the world, there's nothing to ponder about. Let me tell you about us. We came to the Alliance capital to investigate the Deputy Alliance leader. Qin Feiyang looked at Zhao Xiaojin and said. Investigate the Deputy Alliance leader? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. That's right. The Deputy Alliance leader tried to kill us time and time again, and the last time in Wind Sea City, there was actually someone from the Blood Hall who came to kill us. So we suspected that the Deputy Alliance leader was colluding with the Blood Hall. Qin Feiyang said. Impossible. Zhao Xiaojin shook her head decisively. The Deputy Alliance leader is Yi Tian's grandfather. You like Yi Tian, so of course you wouldn't believe it. But it's not just us, even the Demon Hall is suspicious of this matter. That's why we tried every possible means to sneak into the Alliance capital to investigate this matter. If the Deputy Alliance leader is really not colluding with the Blood Hall, then it's naturally for the best. But if he is, then this threat must be eliminated. As someone from the Eastern Continent and a member of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, I believe you should know what consequences it will bring to your Rogue Cultivator Alliance if the Deputy Alliance leader is really colluding with the Blood Hall. Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Xiaojin was silent. If that was really the case, then the Rogue Cultivator Alliance would definitely become a rat on the Eastern Continent. And as a member of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, not only her, but even her parents and brother would be reviled by the world. So I hope that you can help us keep this a secret and not expose our identities. Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Xiaojin was hesitant. Let's put it this way. If the Deputy Alliance leader is not colluding with the Blood Hall, then I'll reconcile with your Rogue Cultivator Alliance. I believe you should have heard that the Deputy Alliance leader intends to reconcile with us. Qin Feiyang said. I know that. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. In any case, it won't do you any harm to help us. On the contrary, if they are really colluding with each other, then you'll be a great contributor to the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Because you're the one who helped us expose the Deputy Alliance leader's true intentions. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Zhao Xiaojin hesitated and asked, if the Deputy Alliance leader is really colluding with the Blood Hall, then doesn't that mean Brother Yi Tian is also involved? You don't have to worry about that. I've talked to Yi Tian. At least for now, he knows nothing about this matter. Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Xiaojin was stunned and asked suspiciously, when did you talk to Brother Yi Tian? When we were in the Star River, we fought with the two sovereign divine weapons of the Blood Hall. In the end, we escaped together and talked for a while. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. I see. Zhao Xiaojin nodded in realization. After pondering for a while, she gritted her teeth and said, "All right, I'll keep it a secret for you, but you have to promise me that you won't kill the innocent in the Alliance capital. We're not devils. You can also find some time to go to the Wind Sea City and ask around. See how everyone judges us." Qin Feiyang smiled. "I'll definitely go." Zhao Xiaojin snorted coldly. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled, and said, "All right then, I'll continue to help you temper your body." After saying that, he controlled 100 strands of lightning power and surged them into Zhao Xiaojin's body. At the same time, Qin Feiyang and Madman also sat cross-legged in the air, reshaping their bodies. Time passed. Half a day passed. Zhao Xiaojin's body had finally risen to the supreme level. This made her extremely excited. And during the entire process of Zhao Xiaojin's tempering, she had only consumed 50 heavenly tribulation bolts, and there were still 49 bolts left. And the last 49 bolts were even more terrifying than the first 50, so the energy they contained was also even more terrifying. According to Qin Feiyang's speculation, the remaining 49 bolts should be enough to raise the bodies of the two of them to the supreme level. The first thing he thought of was the white-eyed wolf and the five-clawed golden dragon. However, the two of them had both refused. Only now did Qin Feiyang realize that their physical bodies had already reached the level of supreme being. The five-clawed golden dragon was because it had fused with the body of the golden dragon ancestral dragon. In addition, it originally had the body of a divine dragon, and it was a five-clawed golden dragon. Its body was not weaker than Qin Feiyang and Madman. As for the white-eyed wolf, he didn't know. It had always been mysterious. In the end, Qin Feiyang simply went to Qin Batian and Lu Xingyang. The two forefathers did not reject the offer. And as Qin Feiyang expected, the energy of these 49 heavenly tribulation bolts raised their bodies to the supreme level. Time flew by. Outside, half a year had passed. And in the Black Tortoise world, it had been more than 100,000 years. Qin Feiyang and Madman's bodies had long been reconstructed. The reason why they stayed in the Black Tortoise world was because they were studying the law of lightning. When they were transcending the tribulation, they had already comprehended the essence of the fourth profound. Now, after a period of meditation, they had finally completed the fourth profound. The fourth profound, 9 heavens divine lightning. With the law of lightning as a guide, they could summon the 9 heavens divine lightning to destroy the world. This breakthrough also meant that the two of them were only a step away from reaching perfection in their lightning laws. What surprised them even more was that Qin Batian and Lu Xingyang were already trying to break through to the fifth profound. As long as they comprehended the fifth profound, they would be able to step into the half-step sovereign level. Qin Feiyang came out of seclusion. Madman was still in seclusion. In any case, the only thing he wanted to do now was to get rid of Qin Feiyang. As for Zhao Xiaojin, Qin Feiyang didn't let her run around the Black Tortoise world. After her body was raised to the supreme level, she had been locked in a cultivation room on the second floor of the ancient castle. Because Zhao Xiaojin wasn't Shui Xiaoxian, he couldn't completely trust her, so everything in the Black Tortoise world had to be kept a secret. Chapter 31-29. Swish. In a cultivation room on the second floor. Qin Feiyang appeared silently and saw Zhao Xiaojin sitting cross-legged on a futon, her eyes slightly narrowed, and her body was surrounded by a holy light. This was the law of light. Zhao Xiaojin's cultivation had already reached the peak imperishable stage, so cultivation was meaningless to her. What she needed to do now was to comprehend the law of light and break through to the half-step ruler realm. However, although more than 100,000 years had passed in the Black Tortoise world, her improvement was not great. The fourth profound was like a threshold. Even Qin Feiyang and the madman had to take such a huge risk to comprehend the fourth profound of the law of lightning. It could be imagined that Zhao Xiaojin would not be able to comprehend the fourth profound of the law of light in a short time. How do you feel? Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Xiaojin was shocked and opened her eyes. When she saw that it was Qin Feiyang, she was relieved and then said angrily, "Can't you make a sound when you come in? Are you trying to scare me to death? Are you so timid?" Qin Feiyang could not help but laugh. "I used to be quite bold, but after what you and Madman Mo did, I can't help but be afraid when I hear the wind blowing." Zhao Xiaojin snorted coldly. "We didn't do much, did we? You don't have to be so afraid of us. We're all good people." Qin Feiyang smiled. "Good people?" Zhao Xiaojin sneered. "If you don't believe me, then there's nothing I can do." "All right, we should go out," Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Xiaojin stood up, tidied her clothes, and asked suspiciously, "How long has it been?" "More than 100,000 years. Qin Feiyang smiled. "What? More than 100,000 years? Then wouldn't the people outside already think that we died in the trial ground?" Zhao Xiaojin's expression changed. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "It's been 100,000 years here, but only half a year has passed outside. The time array could not be hidden, 100,000 years here is only half a year outside. You must be talking in your sleep." Zhao Xiaojin was slightly taken aback. He touched Qin Feiyang's forehead and muttered, "He doesn't have a fever." "What are you doing?" Qin Feiyang slapped Zhao Xiaojin's hand away and glared at her. "I wanted to ask you the same question. Do I look like a silly girl to you? Don't fool me." Zhao Xiaojin said furiously. "I'm not fooling you. I think you're just a fool. 100,000 years here is half a year outside. Even a fool would know that it has something to do with the time array." Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes. "Time array?" Zhao Xiaojin was shocked. "That's right. Why didn't he think of the time array? What a pig's brain. He made such a low-level mistake and was laughed at by this bastard. Wait a minute." But suddenly, her expression froze. Half a year outside was equivalent to hundreds of thousands of years here. Half a year, 180 days, could it be that the time array here was 1,000 years a day? Qin Feiyang glanced at her and changed back to Mo Yuanqing's appearance. With a wave of his hand, the two of them immediately appeared in the void outside. Although half a year had passed, the ground below was still as fragmented as before. There were some fierce beasts wandering nearby. When they saw Qin Feiyang and Mo Yuanqing, they immediately roared, opened their bloody mouths, and pounced at the two of them. These fierce beasts were basically in the imperishable realm. Zhao Xiaojin only released a wisp of her aura and scared them away. "I wonder what happened to the fire dragon and the white jade qilin," Qin Feiyang mumbled. Originally, he wanted to use the power of the heavenly tribulation to subdue the white jade qilin, but his and Frenzy's bodies were all shattered, so he could only temporarily give up. After all, even if they still had their bodies, they were not confident of subduing a half-step ruler, let alone losing their bodies. "Qin. Mo Yuanqing, your time array, is it really 1,000 years a day?" Zhao Xiaojin turned to Qin Feiyang and swallowed her saliva. "Yes." Qin Feiyang nodded. "So, crazy. If you have such a powerful time array, why did you go to the Hall of the Exalted?" Zhao Xiaojin was puzzled. The Hall of the Exalted's time array was only 500 years a day. Compared to Qin Feiyang's time array, it was twice as long. "Didn't you say that only by entering the Hall of the Exalted can we have a chance to get close to the deputy leader?" Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice. "I see." Zhao Xiaojin nodded in realization and thought, "You guys are really bold. Not only did you sneak into the Alliance capital alone, but you also want to get close to the deputy leader. If you are discovered, you won't even know how you died. There was a hint of gloating in her eyes. I said you were stupid, but you still don't admit it. I have a sovereign weapon. Why would I be afraid of the itinerant cultivator alliance? Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes. Zhao Xiaojin's expression froze, and she said angrily, can't you attack someone else? I just didn't think of it. How is that stupid? Okay. It's my fault, Qin Feiyang waved his hand and asked, how far is the exit of the trial ground? I'm not sure how far it is. I heard from my father that if we keep going west, we will see a mountain range shaped like a rhinoceros. The entrance is in the middle of the mountain range. Zhao Xiaojin said. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and said, then let's go find the fire dragon and the white jade qilin first. Why are we looking for them? Zhao Xiaojin was suspicious. To subdue them, of course. Qin Feiyang smiled. The corner of Zhao Xiaojin's mouth twitched, and she said speechlessly, they are real divine beasts. Subdue them? Are you dreaming? It's not like I don't have divine beasts by my side. Qin Feiyang pursed his lips. Do you? Why didn't I notice? Zhao Xiaojin was surprised. Qin Feiyang rubbed his forehead. He realized that he couldn't talk to Zhao Xiaojin in detail. Otherwise, she would be like a curious baby and keep asking questions. He didn't speak again and scanned the surroundings. The trial ground was so big. Where should he find the white jade qilin and the fire dragon? Right. 3,000 clones. If he activated 3,000 clones, he could search a large area. Whoosh! With a thought from Qin Feiyang, 3,000 clones suddenly appeared, and they all looked the same as Qin Feiyang. You must find them. Qin Feiyang said. Understood. The 3,000 clones chuckled and scattered, disappearing into the sky at lightning speed. They are, Zhao Xiaojin had a look of surprise. Clones. Qin Feiyang said. It can't be that simple. I heard about your battle with Brother Yi Tian. In the end, you activated these clones to defeat him. Zhao Xiaojin said. You are quite concerned about me. You know so much about me. Qin Feiyang chuckled. Who cares about you? Don't be shameless. Zhao Xiaojin snorted coldly. Yes. I know. You care about Yi Tian and like him. So when you heard that I defeated him, you also hate me. Then, why don't I give you a chance to help Yi Tian wash away his shame? Let's have a one-on-one fight. Qin Feiyang looked at her mockingly. Sure, Zhao Xiaojin nodded without hesitation. However, after nodding, she regretted it. Even Brother Yi Tian wasn't this guy's match, let alone her. Forget it. This lady is magnanimous and won't argue with a vile guy like you. She turned her head to hide the panic in her heart. Vile guy? Qin Feiyang's face darkened. Time flew. Main body, come over quickly. I found something. In the evening. The voice of one of the clones suddenly rang in Qin Feiyang's mind. So fast. Qin Feiyang was taken aback. He immediately checked the location of the incarnation. Then, he grabbed Zhao Xiaojin and rushed towards the incarnation. What are you doing? Zhao Xiaojin frowned. Don't talk so much. Qin Feiyang glared at her. Around dawn, Qin Feiyang finally arrived at the place where the clone was. It was a mountain range that stretched for hundreds of thousands of miles. Giant peaks towered into the sky, emitting a majestic aura. The clone was lying on top of a mountain, staring down without blinking. Qin Feiyang walked over and also lay beside the clone, looking down. There was a valley below, and two ferocious beasts were lying in the valley. Their bodies were bleeding, and they were barely breathing as they stared at each other. That's right. It was the fire dragon and the white jade qilin. What are they doing? Zhao Xiaojin, who was at the side, secretly wondered. Are you an idiot? They are obviously recuperating. The clone rolled his eyes at her. Zhao Xiaojin immediately glared at the clone angrily. She was actually looked down on by a clone. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but laugh. Looking at the clone, he said, "Mission completed, you guys can leave first." After saying that, with a thought, the clone beside him disappeared into thin air. At the same time, the other clones that were scattered in other places also dissipated. The more Zhao Xiaojin looked, the more shocked she became. He was actually talking to the clone. What was going on? What the hell? Qin Feiyang ignored her and looked down at the two divine beasts. From the looks of it, they had been fighting since half a year ago. But what was it that made them hate each other so much? Now, the two beasts were in a bad state. To him, this was undoubtedly a good opportunity. However, he couldn't force it. Although the two beasts were heavily injured, their sea of qi was still there. With the sea of qi, their cultivation was also there. As long as their cultivation was still there, they would be able to kill him if they fought back with all their might. Moreover, these divine beasts were all proud and arrogant people. They couldn't be forcefully controlled, or else it would only backfire. They had to follow them wholeheartedly. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while, then slowly stood up and landed in the air above the valley. He smiled and said, "It's really fate to meet you again." Zhao Xiaojin also hurriedly ran to Qin Feiyang's side. The two beasts were stunned. "Brother, it's you." The fire dragon bared its fangs and was overjoyed. At the same time, White Jade Qilin became vigilant. "It's me, brother." Qin Feiyang also smiled and asked suspiciously, "What are you guys doing here? Isn't that obvious? This guy has been pestering me non-stop. Look at the injuries on my body, they were all caused by it. Brother, quickly take advantage of its serious injuries and kill it together. Qilin's meat, whether it's roasted or stewed, tastes good." Fire Dragon laughed sinisterly. Ugh. Qin Feiyang was stunned, so he was still a foodie. White Jade Qilin's pupils constricted as he stared at Fire Dragon and roared, "Your divine dragon's meat is even more fragrant. Fuck. This emperor's brother is here, and you still dare to be arrogant?" Fire Dragon said angrily. White Jade Qilin snorted coldly, stared at Qin Feiyang, and said in a deep voice, "Human, this has nothing to do with you, it's our personal grudge." Chapter 3130. Then tell me, what's the grudge? As the saying goes, the more friends you have, the more options you have. Anything can be discussed. There's no need to fight to the death, right? Besides, you're all divine beasts, rare in the world. You should cherish your lives. How about this, I'll be the peacemaker. Tell me, and I'll be the judge. I guarantee fairness. Qin Feiyang smiled. Old fox. In Zhao Xiaojin's eyes, the smile on Qin Feiyang's face was a sinister smile. He couldn't help but despise him. The White Jade Qilin pondered for a while and nodded. What you said makes sense. We're all divine beasts, and it's not easy to come by. I'll let you be the judge. That's right. According to the words of us humans, only harmony brings wealth. Qin Feiyang chuckled and turned to the Fire Dragon. Brother, what do you think? Don't you know everything? It attacked me when I was transforming, causing me to be seriously injured and unconscious. If you hadn't helped me, I wouldn't even know how I died. The Fire Dragon said angrily. The White Jade Qilin roared, then why don't you tell him why I attacked you? Yeah. Why did it attack you? There has to be a reason. Qin Feiyang looked at the Fire Dragon and said suspiciously. The Fire Dragon stammered and seemed a little flustered. He glared at Qin Feiyang angrily and said, Are you still my brother? Yes, I must be. But I'm on the side of reason, not kinship. Right is right, wrong is right. You can't say that wrong is right just because we're brothers. Qin Feiyang smiled. The fire dragon looked angry. The white jade Qilin glared at the fire dragon, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "It's too ashamed to tell you." "I'll tell you." "Okay, go ahead." Qin Feiyang nodded. "We have to start from more than 100 years ago. That bastard suddenly appeared in the trial grounds and went around robbing the treasures of the various beast emperors, infuriating both humans and gods. One day, it was chased by the various beast emperors and fled to this emperor's territory. I ignored it at first, but I suddenly noticed that it has the bloodline power of the divine dragon and is about to transform. So, seeing that we are both divine beasts, this emperor decided to help it. But I never thought that after the wind blew over, it would actually attack me from behind. Then, while I was unconscious, it took away all my treasures, including a heaven-defying divine weapon. Tell me, is there such a bastard who bites the hand that feeds him?" The white jade Qilin roared furiously. "Ugh!" Qin Feiyang looked at the fire dragon in astonishment. The fire dragon turned its head guiltily, not daring to look directly at Qin Feiyang and the white jade Qilin. "Tell me, if it were you, would you be able to tolerate such a thing?" "Of course not." So, this emperor looked everywhere for it. One day, this emperor finally found it. Seeing that it was transforming, this emperor gave it a taste of its own medicine and ambushed it. But it was lucky and escaped. When it was found again, it would be the time for its tribulation. You know it too. The white jade Qilin was furious. "Little dragon, this is your fault. The white jade Qilin helped you out of goodwill, but you actually plotted against it. In our human world, this is something that only villains would do. So, you must apologize to it and return the treasures it stole." Zhao Xiaojin stepped forward and looked at the fire dragon. The fire dragon said proudly, "This emperor snatched it with my own strength. Why should I return it?" The white jade Qilin said angrily, do you see? This is its attitude." Qin Feiyang was also speechless. Why was the fire dragon's personality so similar to the white-eyed wolf's? They were both shameless. After a while, Qin Feiyang looked at the white jade Qilin and said with a smile, "What treasures do you have?" "Large amounts of medicinal herbs, pills, soul stones, divine crystals, divine arts, divine artifacts, and so on." The white jade Qilin said. "You're already a half-step sovereign. Other than pills and divine crystals, nothing else is useful to you. As for medicinal herbs, you're not an alchemist, so they're even more meaningless. The only valuable thing is that heaven-defying divine artifact you mentioned." Qin Feiyang said. "That's right, they're all worthless goods. Do you have to be like this? Besides, that heaven-defying divine artifact of yours is just a low-grade heaven-defying divine artifact. What's so good about it?" The fire dragon pursed its lips. "Shut up." Qin Feiyang glared fiercely and said, "No matter how worthless it is, it's still someone else's. What's wrong with you snatching it?" The fire dragon said angrily, "I snatched it with my own ability. What do you want?" Qin Feiyang's face was dark. This was obviously shameless. It seemed that he was even more shameless than the white-eyed wolf. "Don't be so arrogant. If you didn't sneak attack from behind, would you have snatched this emperor's treasures? Besides, I don't care about these treasures. I just don't like you, an ungrateful bastard." The white jade Qilin cursed. "That's right. Look at how generous the white jade Qilin is. You're both divine beasts, so why are you so far away from it? Where's your pride as a divine beast? Where's your pride as a divine beast? Aren't you afraid of being ridiculed if this gets out?" Qin Feiyang was helpless. It's so thick-skinned. Is it afraid of being ridiculed? The white jade Qilin looked down on him. I'm thick-skinned. Come and bite me. The fire dragon looked at it provocatively. It was like a dead pig that wasn't afraid of boiling water. Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin looked at each other. They couldn't help but shake their heads and smile bitterly. This was the first time they had encountered such a shameless divine beast. How about this? Qin Feiyang pondered for a while. He looked at the white jade Qilin and said with a smile, I'll make up for your losses. You. The white jade Qilin was stunned. Yes. He's my brother. I'll take responsibility for his mistakes. First, I'll apologize to you on his behalf. After Qin Feiyang said that, he bowed 3 times, full of sincerity. The white jade Qilin looked at Qin Feiyang in a daze. The fire dragon was also stunned. Was he really treating it as a brother? Qin Feiyang continued, then, if you trust me, I'll bring you to a place. Divine crystals, medicinal herbs, pills, you can take whatever you want. You can also choose heaven-defying divine artifacts. I can choose whatever I want. The white jade Qilin was stunned. Was he so generous? Yes. I only hope that the 2 of you can put aside your previous grudges and be true friends. Qin Feiyang smiled slightly. Where? The white jade Qilin was curious. Can you trust me? And, can I trust you? Later, when I bring you to the place, I promise you won't tell anyone. No beasts. Qin Feiyang said. Don't worry, I will never do immoral things like some scum. The white jade Qilin said. Who are you talking about? The fire dragon said angrily. Don't you know who I'm talking about? The white jade Qilin glared at it fiercely. Straightforward. I like to be friends with divine beasts like you. Qin Feiyang laughed. The fire dragon rolled its eyes and looked at Qin Feiyang with a flattering smile, that, brother, can you bring me along? No. I don't trust you. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Don't. I promise that without your permission, I won't touch a single blade of grass or tree there. The fire dragon hurriedly vowed. The white jade Qilin hurriedly said, Human, don't believe it's nonsense. Shut up. Did I talk to you? The fire dragon glared at the white jade Qilin and looked at Qin Feiyang with a smile, if you still don't believe me, I swear in the name of my parents. You have parents? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Nonsense, without parents, how could I be born? Could it be that I jumped out from a stone? The fire dragon rolled its eyes. Qin Feiyang suddenly pondered. If the fire dragon's cultivation was so strong, how terrifying would its parents be? Are your parents still alive? Qin Feiyang asked. Of course. What do you mean? Are you cursing them? The fire dragon said angrily. No, no. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and sent a voice transmission, White Jade Qilin, do you know who its parents are? I don't know. More than 100 years ago, it seemed to have appeared out of thin air. The White Jade Qilin thought. It can't be. If that's the case, it might not be from the trial ground. Qin Feiyang was surprised. Definitely not, it must have run in from outside. The White Jade Qilin said. It came in from outside. Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat. Outside, there were only people from the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. If that was the case, this fire dragon was most likely the partner of someone from the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. If that was the case, all the more he couldn't let the fire dragon enter the Black Tortoise world. Wait a minute. If that was the case, his identity might be exposed. This was because Huolong had seen his true appearance when he was transcending the tribulation. What are you thinking about? We're already brothers, and you're still guarding against me like this, that's boring. The fire dragon looked at Qin Feiyang with dissatisfaction. All right. I'll bring you in, but you have to promise me that not only will you not touch my things, but you also have to keep it a secret. Qin Feiyang said. Fine, I swear in the name of my parents, if I reveal a word, I'll choke to death while drinking water and be smashed to death by rocks while walking. The fire dragon nodded. Can you show some sincerity? Water can choke you to death. Rocks can smash you to death. Also, will rocks fall from the sky? Qin Feiyang was speechless. Zhao Xiaojin couldn't help but burst into laughter. This Wolong was too funny. Something that's impossible, that's called a poison oath. Little girl, don't you think so? The fire dragon grinned and looked at Zhao Xiaojin. Don't talk to me, I'm afraid of embarrassing myself. Zhao Xiaojin quickly waved her hand. Hey, what's with your attitude? You have to respect a divine beast more or less. The fire dragon was immediately dissatisfied. Come on, I think you're just a rogue. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes. Hearing this, the fire dragon immediately stared at Qin Feiyang angrily. Alright, I'll believe you this time. Qin Feiyang nodded, then waved his hand and appeared in the sky above the Devil's Land with Zhao Xiaojin, the fire dragon, and the white jade Qilin. Damn! When looking at the medicinal field below and feeling the majestic energy of the crystal vein and soul vein, the fire dragon's eyes suddenly widened. How many medicinal herbs were there? How many soul veins? How many crystal veins? And all the medicinal herbs were old, and no one knew how many years they had existed. This was simply a peerless treasure. Chapter 31-31. The white jade Qilin at the side was also dumbfounded. Every stalk of medicinal herb here could be called a treasure. It suddenly felt that it had lived for so many years in vain. Qin Feiyang looked at the white jade Qilin and laughed, I keep my word, you can take whatever you want. The white jade Qilin was already dazzled. Brother, what about me? Fire Dragon looked at Qin Feiyang with a smirk. You. Qin Feiyang's face darkened, and said angrily, I'm wiping your butt, and you still have the nerve to open your mouth. Don't let the goodies flow into the fields of outsiders. Since we're brothers, let me more or less get some. Fire Dragon smiled embarrassedly. Scram. Qin Feiyang glared at it. White Jade Qilin glanced at Fire Dragon, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, I didn't see it, it's just a guy who doesn't know how to be content. You'd better stay away from it in the future. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Don't instigate the relationship between us brothers. Fire Dragon said angrily. I'm just telling the truth. White Jade Qilin laughed coldly, and then looked at Qin Feiyang and asked, what about the heaven-defying artifact? Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded, looked at the sky, and shouted, Sunset Bow, all of you come down for a moment. Whiz. Immediately. Accompanied by the sound of breaking through the air, all the heaven-defying artifact landed in front of Qin Feiyang. So many. White Jade Qilin's eyes suddenly widened. Fire Dragon's eyes were also filled with passion. The heaven-defying artifact that the Black Tortoise world currently possessed were the Sunset Bow and the other top 10 heaven-defying artifact, the Axe, the Blood Demon Tower, the Snowflake, the Blood Blade, the Magic Sword, as well as the Black Demon Spear, the Phoenix Blade, the Death God Scythe, and the Dragon-Slaying Sword obtained from the Underworld King's Hell. In other words, there were a total of 19 pieces. And at the very least, they were high-grade heaven-defying divine artifacts. Not to mention the White Jade Qilin and the Fire Dragon, even Qin Feiyang himself couldn't help but feel shocked when he saw so many heaven-defying divine artifacts gathered together. Unknowingly, the Black Tortoise world already had so many heaven-defying divine artifacts. This looks like the Slayer magic sword. Suddenly, Fire Dragon stared at Slayer's magic sword in shock. What? You recognize the magic sword Slayer? Qin Feiyang was shocked. The butcher's magic sword was Yi Yuan's heaven-defying artifact. Since the fire dragon recognized it, then it definitely belonged to the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Of course I do. That scum Yi Yuan. Why is it in your hands? Wait. Before I entered the trial grounds, I heard that Yi Yuan was killed and the magic sword of slaughter was stolen. Are you that madman Mo? Fire Dragon looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. Qin Feiyang's heart trembled, he didn't expect to be recognized again. But thinking back, he entered the Alliance capital more than 300 years ago, and the Fire Dragon entered the trial grounds 100 years ago. No matter if it was the battle between the Frenzied and Yi Yuan, or the battle between him and Yi Tian, the Fire Dragon should know about it. Since that was the case, there was nothing to hide. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, I am not Madman Mo, I am Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang. Fire Dragon was slightly startled, and said in astonishment, you actually snuck into the Alliance capital? Is the Alliance capital a dragon's lair or a tiger's den? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Nonsense. Although Old Man Yi wants to reconcile with you, it doesn't mean that you are safe. Fire Dragon said. You even know about this? Qin Feiyang was surprised. This emperor usually doesn't care about these things, but I have no choice, you and Madman Mo's names are too famous, it's hard not to know. It's just that I didn't ask about your appearance before. However, this emperor really admires your courage, you actually dared to barge into the Alliance capital alone. This emperor will become your brother. Fire Dragon laughed loudly. Eh. Qin Feiyang was astonished. Are you wondering why this emperor wants to befriend you as a brother after knowing your identity? Fire Dragon asked. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Let me tell you, this emperor has long found Old Man Yi an eyesore. Hua Long chuckled. The so-called Old Man Yi was naturally the Vice Alliance leader. It can't be. Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin looked at each other in dismay. Why can't it be? This damn old man, he always has a sinister and cunning look on his face. It's annoying just looking at him. Fire Dragon pursed his lips. Your words are pleasant to hear. Qin Feiyang laughed. Fire Dragon also laughed, then looked at Zhao Xiaojin and said, actually, this emperor also knows who you are. Is that so? Zhao Xiaojin was stunned. A small character like you definitely can't enter this emperor's eyes. When this emperor saw you half a year ago, this emperor didn't immediately remember. Just now, this emperor thought for a bit, aren't you the little girl who follows behind that brat Yi Tian? Fire Dragon looked at her mockingly. You even know that I'm following big brother Yi Tian? Zhao Xiaojin was surprised. Fire Dragon said proudly, in this Alliance capital, there's nothing this emperor doesn't know. Then who are you? I've never heard of you. Zhao Xiaojin was suspicious. Of course, a small character like you wouldn't know of this emperor's existence. Fire Dragon was disdainful. Shameless. Zhao Xiaojin mumbled. Enough. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, looked at the white jade Qilin, and said, choose. You really want me to choose? The white jade Qilin frowned. Of course. I'm a man of my word. Qin Feiyang nodded. The white jade Qilin immediately looked at those heaven-defying divine artifacts. Fire Dragon looked at the white jade Qilin with a hint of playfulness in his eyes. Back then in Wind Sea City, Qin Feiyang's battle with the Bloodhall's sovereign divine weapon had shocked the entire eastern continent. Even the western continent, northern continent, and southern continent knew about it. Such a fierce person dared to covet his heaven-defying divine artifacts. Wasn't this courting death? Forget it. The white jade Qilin hesitated for a moment, then suddenly shook its head. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Zhao Xiaojin and Fire Dragon also looked at it suspiciously. How could it let go of such a good opportunity? The white jade Qilin smiled and said, compared to these worldly possessions, I prefer to be friends with you. It wasn't stupid. Qin Feiyang had so many heaven-defying divine artifacts and resources, yet he dared to sneak into the Alliance capital alone. His identity was definitely not simple. Rather than taking advantage of this small advantage, it was better to be friends with him. That would definitely bring more benefits in the future. This was called giving up the small to take the big. Qin Feiyang was overjoyed when he heard this. He laughed and said, okay, I'll also be friends with you. Wasn't this his goal? Fire Dragon glanced at the white jade Qilin and said, you're not smart, but you have good taste. You want to fight again, right? The white jade Qilin roared. Come on, I'm not afraid of you. Fire Dragon said angrily. Okay. We've already reconciled. Why are you still causing trouble? We'll all be friends in the future. Keep your temper. Qin Feiyang quickly tried to smooth things over. I won't bicker with you on account of my brother. Fire Dragon snorted. I won't bicker with you on account of him. The white jade Qilin sneered. Okay. Thank you for giving me face. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly and said to the white jade Qilin, then why don't you stay here for now? After we leave the Alliance capital, you can decide where to go. Okay. The white jade Qilin nodded. Brother, I want to stay here too. Fire Dragon said anxiously. You can't. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Why? We're brothers. Fire Dragon had a sad look on his face. We're brothers, but you're from the Alliance capital. If you follow me, won't the Rogue Cultivator Alliance and your parents skin me alive? Qin Feiyang said. They won't. I promise. Fire Dragon raised his dragon claw. Let's talk about it in the future. Qin Feiyang shook his head and then left the Black Tortoise world with the Fire Dragon and Zhao Xiaojin. He then sent a sound transmission to Madman, Senior Brother, I'll leave the white jade Qilin behind. The rest is up to you. No problem. Madman chuckled and immediately ran out of the castle to find the white jade Qilin. Outside. Fire Dragon kept complaining, Brother, your attitude makes me very uncomfortable. It's obvious that you don't trust me. Enough. There's still a long way to go. Qin Feiyang smiled comfortingly. Let me tell you, if you don't bribe me, I'll reveal your identity. Fire Dragon snorted coldly. Yes. I'll definitely think of a way to bribe you. Qin Feiyang was helpless. What a troublemaker. As for revealing it, he wasn't worried. If Fire Dragon really wanted to reveal it, he wouldn't say it like this. Moreover, although this Fire Dragon was a little shameless, no. He was very shameless. However, after getting along with him, he felt that he was still reliable. Then where are we going now? Zhao Xiaojin asked. Of course we're leaving the trial grounds. Qin Feiyang smiled, then looked at Fire Dragon and asked, what about you? Fire Dragon thought for a moment, then shook his head and said, there's nothing to harm here, I'll go out too. The corner of Qin Feiyang's mouth twitched, and he was speechless. You came to the trial grounds to harm them? I'm bored. Fire Dragon grinned, his body quickly shrank, turning into a chopstick-sized dragon, and with a swoosh, he drilled into Zhao Xiaojin's chest. What are you doing? Zhao Xiaojin's cheeks immediately flushed red, and she hurriedly pulled Fire Dragon out. Hide. All these years, I've provoked so many beast emperors. If I don't hide, aren't you afraid of being hunted down? Fire Dragon said. Then why are you here? Zhao Xiaojin said angrily. This emperor likes women. Fire Dragon chuckled, why did he look like a wretched little old man? Scram. Zhao Xiaojin's face darkened, she grabbed Fire Dragon's tail and threw it out like trash. I'm a divine beast now, can you leave me some dignity? The fire dragon roared furiously. So what if you're a divine beast? Zhao Xiaojin disdainfully looked at Qin Feiyang and said, ignore this little bastard, let's go. Qin Feiyang shook his head and laughed, looking at Fire Dragon, I don't mind you hiding in my arms. Man. Hee, not interested. Fire Dragon glanced at Qin Feiyang with a look of disdain. Qin Feiyang's mouth twitched, and he looked at Zhao Xiaojin, you're indeed a little bastard, let's go. Whoosh! At that moment, the two of them turned into a ray of light and rushed towards the west like lightning. Damn, you're really leaving this emperor behind? Fire Dragon cursed angrily, and hurriedly chased after them. Chapter 31-32. Don't talk about it. The Fire Dragon followed Qin Feiyang and Li Mu, and it even played a crucial role. Because the Fire Dragon was very familiar with the trial grounds. It knew very well where the beast emperors were and where the fatal dangers were. With it guiding the way, there was no danger at all. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Finally, a mountain range shaped like a rhinoceros entered their sight. The exit should be in that mountain. Zhao Xiaojin smiled happily and flew toward the mountain range impatiently. Wait a moment. Qin Feiyang stopped Zhao Xiaojin and stopped in the air, scanning the mountain range. What's wrong? Zhao Xiaojin looked at him suspiciously. Be careful. What if someone is hiding in there and preparing to ambush us? Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice. Ambush? You mean Zhang Sanbao and the others? Zhao Xiaojin was shocked. We can't rule out this possibility. Qin Feiyang whispered. Zhao Xiaojin scanned the mountain range and frowned. We've been recuperating in your spatial divine item for half a year. They might think that we've already left the trial grounds. It's best if that's the case. It'll save us some trouble. Qin Feiyang smiled, but then his expression changed and he shook his head. No, it might be even more troublesome. Why? Zhao Xiaojin was puzzled. Think about it. When they go out and find that we're still in the trial grounds, what will they do? They'll make the first move and bite us, saying that we're ruthless and murdered that young man. In this way, when we go out and tell the truth, no one will believe us. Qin Feiyang said. Then, are they worth believing? After all, this is only their side of the story. Zhao Xiaojin frowned. There's a key to this. This key is Zhang Sanbao. Many people know that Zhang Sanbao likes you and has a good relationship with you. If he stands up for us righteously, how many people do you think will believe us? Qin Feiyang sneered. Zhao Xiaojin's heart sank. Qin Feiyang glanced at Zhao Xiaojin and comforted him, don't worry too much, this is just my guess. Let's enter the mountain range first and see if they have an ambush. Zhao Xiaojin nodded and followed beside Qin Feiyang, carefully flying towards the mountain range. Suddenly, she lowered her head and looked at her wrist. There was an exquisite bracelet on it. The bracelet was fiery red and shaped like a divine dragon. That was right. This was the transformation of the fire dragon. Little bastard, didn't you claim to be very powerful? Can you help us when the time comes? Zhao Xiaojin smiled gently. Tigress, can you not be so gentle? I'm not used to it. The fire dragon said lazily. You need to be taught a lesson. Zhao Xiaojin immediately frowned. That's right. This is your true nature. The fire dragon chuckled. Zhao Xiaojin gritted his teeth and said angrily, then are you going to help or not? Help, definitely help. But I didn't see the matter between you and Zhang Sanbao with my own eyes. Who knows if it's like what you said? The fire dragon pursed his lips. You've been with us for so long, don't you know what kind of person we are? Zhao Xiaojin was a little angry. Don't talk like we're very familiar with each other. Although we've known each other for half a year, we've only been together for half a month. In just half a month, I don't have the ability to see through a person's nature. The fire dragon replied indifferently. You, Zhao Xiaojin was furious and said angrily, we even saved you before. Did I ask you to save me again? No way. It's you guys who have nothing better to do and are nosy. The fire dragon said. I'll bite you to death. Zhao Xiaojin was enraged to the extreme. This little bastard was too heartless. Seeing Zhao Xiaojin's overly intense reaction, Qin Feiyang was a little speechless. This woman was sometimes so silly that she was cute. Couldn't she tell that the fire dragon was deliberately teasing her? About 10 breaths later. Qin Feiyang's eyes suddenly lit up as he looked at a giant mountain that was about 10,000 feet in front of him. At the top of the mountain, there was a space-time crack floating. It's the exit. Zhao Xiaojin's eyes were filled with joy. The two of them carefully approached the mountain peak, but there was no danger as they had imagined. They successfully landed on the mountain peak. Looks like they've already left the trial ground. Qin Feiyang muttered. Zhao Xiaojin asked, then is it possible that they haven't found this place yet? Qin Feiyang said, even you know the location of the exit, let alone them. That's true. Zhang Sanbao's father is the city lord of our East City. He must know the situation of the trial ground better than me. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. Regardless of whether they've left or not, our situation won't be too good. Let's go. Qin Feiyang smiled and took the lead to step into the space-time crack. Zhao Xiaojin took a deep breath and quickly followed. Sanlan Snow Mountain. Somewhere in the west, there was a small square. The plaza was covered in ice and snow, and the cold wind was bone-chilling. On all sides, there were endless glaciers. A white-robed old man sat cross-legged in the plaza. He had white hair and a white beard. He had the demeanor of a transcendent being and emitted a faintly discernible aura. Above him, there was a space-time crack floating. Suddenly, the white-robed old man opened his eyes and looked at the space-time crack above him. Following that, under the white-robed old man's gaze, a man and a woman walked out of the space-time crack. It was Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin. The two of them stood in the air and scanned their surroundings. As expected, the exit was not in the Alliance capital. When they saw the white-robed old man, their pupils constricted. They hurriedly landed on the plaza and bowed. Greetings, senior. The white-robed old man stood up and sized up the two of them. He asked, you two are Mo Yuanyuan and Zhao Xiaojin. As for the fire dragon, it had turned into a bracelet and quietly wrapped itself around Zhao Xiaojin's wrist. The white-robed old man had not noticed it yet. It's the two of us. Qin Feiyang nodded. One is the third profound of the law of light, the other is the third profound of the law of thunder, and you have also comprehended the second profound of the law of war. Your talents have surprised this old man. The white-robed old man laughed hoarsely. Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. He had only revealed the law of thunder in the trial grounds. The people in the Alliance capital did not know about it. But this old man in front of him actually knew about it so clearly. It was obvious that Zhang Sanbao and the others had already come out. Thank you for your praise, senior. Zhao Xiaojin was also a little nervous. Would it really be as Qin Feiyang thought, that Zhang Sanbao and the others would bite them back? Unfortunately, suddenly, the white-robed old man shook his head. Hearing this, Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin's eyelids twitched. The white-robed old man pondered for a moment, then asked, tell this old man honestly, did you kill Wu Shan? Wu Shan? Qin Feiyang was stunned. The white-robed old man waved his hand, and a shadow condensed. It was the young man who died in Zhao Xiaojin's hands. Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin looked at each other. This old man wants to hear the truth. The white-robed old man said. I killed him. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. The white-robed old man frowned and asked, why did you kill him? Because he deserved to be killed. Zhao Xiaojin said word by word, his face full of disgust. The white-robed old man was slightly stunned, and said, tell me about it. Zhao Xiaojin asked, I believe that senior should have heard about the grudge between this junior and Feng Wanyan. And the white-robed old man nodded. It's because we offended him back then that he held a grudge against us. That's why Zhang Sanbao and the others attacked us in the trial grounds, even launching a sneak attack. If it wasn't for the fact that this junior has a forbidden escape technique, I would have died in their hands. Zhao Xiaojin said. Is that so? But what they said is completely different from what you're saying now. The white-robed old man frowned. Qin Feiyang asked, did they tell you that it was us who plotted against them first? That's right. They said that you encountered a heaven-defying divine artifact in the trial grounds, so you wanted to kill them because of the treasure. The white-robed old man nodded. This is simply a case of a thief crying thief. Zhao Xiaojin was furious. Both of you are sticking to your own story. To be honest, this old man doesn't know who to believe. The white-robed old man shook his head. Rotten old man, do you believe this emperor? At this moment, the fire dragon spoke, leaving Zhao Xiaojin's wrist and floating in front of the white-robed old man. The divine beast fire dragon. The white-robed old man's eyes flashed with a strange light. What kind of eyesight is this? You can't even recognize this emperor's voice. The fire dragon glared at him angrily. The white-robed old man was stunned as he sized up the fire dragon. A trace of surprise gradually crept into his eyes as he asked, it can't be you, right? Nonsense, who else could it be if not this emperor? More than 100 years ago, that was before you sent this emperor to the trial. The fire dragon pursed his lips. You, the white-robed old man seemed to be in disbelief as he asked, you've already successfully transformed? Isn't that the truth in front of you? The fire dragon said. Congratulations. The white-robed old man's face was filled with joy. Stop flattering me. This matter was indeed planned by Zhang Sanbao and the others first. Also, Mo Yuanyuan and Zhao Xiaojin are this emperor's saviors, you have to take care of them. The fire dragon said indifferently. Saviors? The white-robed old man was stunned. Yes. This emperor encountered some difficulties in the trial grounds and almost died. It was because they helped me pass the tribulation that I was able to transform successfully. The fire dragon nodded. I see. The white-robed old man nodded in realization and looked at Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin with a smile. Since it can testify, this matter must be true. Qin Feiyang and Zhao Xiaojin heaved a sigh of relief. However, they were also more curious about the fire dragon's identity. Even the people from the Hall of the Exalted trusted it so much. What role did it play in the Itinerant Cultivators Alliance? However, the white-robed old man changed the topic and said, Zhang Sanbao and the others have been out for 5 months. In these 5 months, many things have happened. What happened? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Zhao Xiaojin also had an uneasy premonition in his heart. After they came out, they spread the news that you plotted against them and caused an uproar in the alliance. In addition, Wu Shan's father and the forces behind Zhang Sanbao and the others kept complaining to the higher-ups. Therefore, 3 months ago, the higher-ups ordered. At this point, the white-robed old man could not help but look at Zhao Xiaojin with a hesitant expression. What order? Zhao Xiaojin panicked. To arrest your parents and your brother. The white-robed old man sighed. Chapter 31-33. What? Zhao Xiaojin's body swayed and his face turned pale. Qin Feiyang hurriedly supported Zhao Xiaojin and looked at the white-robed old man with a frown. Senior, this is just their side of the story. Why didn't you wait for us to come out and verify it before coming to a conclusion? On one hand, it's because Zhang Sanbao and the others are causing too much trouble. The higher-ups have no choice but to do this to appease the public. On the other hand, this matter has something to do with the 10th elder. The white-robed old man sighed. It's that old fart again. Qin Feiyang raised his brows. The white-robed old man frowned. Don't be rude. After all, he's the 10th elder of our itinerant cultivator alliance. If he's really respected, would I scold him like that? Qin Feiyang snorted coldly. Although you're right, you can't say it out loud. If others hear it, they'll accuse you of being disrespectful again. The white-robed old man said. Qin Feiyang raised his brows and nodded. I'll take note of it in the future. Yes. The 10th elder is famous for being protective of his own people. Feng Wanyan lost to you guys in the East City and lost face. He'll definitely take it to heart. Therefore, when he learned of this matter, he immediately reported it to the deputy alliance leader and sent people to capture Zhao Eryong and the others. If Yi Tian didn't appear at the critical moment, he would have killed them on the spot. The white-robed old man said. Yi Tian, Qin Feiyang mumbled and asked, what about Yi Tian? What did he say? Yi Tian is willing to believe you guys. He insisted on waiting for you guys to come out of the trial ground to confront Zhang Sanbao and the others. The white-robed old man nodded. Not bad. I didn't make a mistake. Qin Feiyang mumbled. From the beginning, he felt that Yi Tian was a very good person. He was somewhat similar to the Prince of the Dragons. He was frank and honest. Now, he did not disappoint him. Zhao Xiaojin hurriedly asked, where are my father and the others now? How are they now? They seem to be locked up in the divine prison. I'm not sure about the exact situation. The white-robed old man shook his head. Divine prison, Zhao Xiaojin's face turned pale again. The divine prison was a place where the rogue cultivator alliance locked up criminals and traitors. Those who entered the divine prison would have a 90% chance of survival. Actually, the most important thing is still Zhang Sanbao. At first, everyone was skeptical because many people in East City knew Zhao Xiaojin better and felt that it was impossible for him to do such a thing. But at the critical moment, Zhang Sanbao stood up and accused you with a pained expression. The white-robed old man shook his head. That bastard. Zhao Xiaojin's face was filled with rage. And all of this did not escape Qin Feiyang's speculation. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath, looked at Zhao Xiaojin and said, the most important thing right now is to save your father and the others. Feng Wanyan hates you to the bones, your father and the others will definitely not have a good time in the divine prison. Zhao Xiaojin quivered and nodded, that's right, that's right. He will definitely take this opportunity to take revenge and torture my father and the others. We will immediately go to divine prison. With that, Zhao Xiaojin rushed towards the southeast. Qin Feiyang quickly followed. Fire Dragon looked at the backs of Qin Feiyang and the white-robed old man and said, Old man, are you not going to do anything about this? This matter is related to the 10th elder, how can this old man interfere? The white-robed old man chuckled. TSK, you're too lazy to care. No matter what, you are still one of the top 3 figures in the Alliance capital. Can you not just hide here and slack off all day? Fire Dragon rolled his eyes. This old man is already a person who is about to die. If I don't find a chance to enjoy a peaceful life now, do I have to wait until I die to find one? The white-robed old man was speechless. Then hurry up and die. Don't waste food. Fire Dragon glared at him, then chased after Qin Feiyang and the white-robed old man. The corner of the white-robed old man's mouth twitched. Looking at Elder Hua's back, his face was filled with helplessness. But then, he raised his head and looked at the snowy sky with a hint of worry between his brows. Where is the divine prison? Qin Feiyang followed beside Zhao Xiaojin and frowned. Purgatory Ice Peak in the southeast. Zhao Xiaojin said. Purgatory Ice Peak, Qin Feiyang muttered, and asked, then, do you want to inform Yi Tian about this matter first? Let's see how the situation goes first. Zhao Xiaojin's face was filled with worry. Don't be so anxious. With this emperor here, no one will dare to hurt them. Fire Dragon caught up and said proudly. Zhao Xiaojin said, the key is that they don't know your relationship with us. That's true. Fire Dragon nodded, and then said, don't worry, if anything happens to your father and the others, this emperor promises to take revenge for you. Can you shut up? What do you mean something bad? Can't you say something more auspicious? Qin Feiyang really wanted to kick him. Didn't he see that Zhao Xiaojin was already so scared? Wasn't he deliberately provoking her? Fire Dragon smiled embarrassedly. About an hour later, a snowy mountain appeared in front of them. But strangely enough, the snowy mountain was tens of thousands of feet tall, and its entire body was dark red. Even the snow on top of it was dark red, as if it had been soaked in a large amount of blood. From afar, one could feel a fiendish aura. The air was also filled with traces of blood mist, making it look extremely eerie and terrifying. That's the Purgatory Ice Peak. Zhao Xiaojin said in a deep voice. Qin Feiyang sized up the ice peak. Thick blood-red chains were tied around the ice peak. The other ends of the chains were buried deep into the ground, producing deafening sounds amidst the fierce winds. The dark red ice peak, the dark red snow, the blood-red chains, and the blood mist in the air made this place look like an azure purgatory, causing one to be intimidated. Right next to the ice mountain, there was a stone stele that was 300 meters tall. 2 bloody words were engraved on it, Divine Prison. The entrance to the Divine Prison was at the foot of the mountain. It was a dark red stone door, and it was currently tightly shut. In front of the stone door, there were 2 middle-aged men sitting cross-legged. They were both late-stage sovereigns. Who is it? Sensing the auras of Qin Feiyang, Zhao Xiaojin, and the Fire Dragon, the 2 middle-aged men suddenly opened their eyes, and 2 rays of cold light shot out of their eyes. Zhao Xiaojin rushed in front of the 2 and said respectfully, Junior Zhao Xiaojin greets the 2 seniors. You are Zhao Eryong's daughter, Zhao Xiaojin. The 2 were stunned. N. Zhao Xiaojin nodded. Then you are Mo Fengyuan. The 2 looked at Qin Feiyang. Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Then it. The divine beast Fire Dragon. The 2 looked at the Fire Dragon again, and a trace of shock appeared in their eyes. Why was there a Fire Dragon beside the 2 of them? The Fire Dragon had transformed in the trial grounds, so the people of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance still didn't know that the Fire Dragon was a giant python. Zhao Xiaojin bowed and said, Seniors, please make an exception and let us enter the divine prison. The 2 men looked at each other and said in unison, You were tempted by wealth in the trial grounds, and you killed your fellow disciples. You should indeed enter the divine prison. Zhang Sanbao and the others framed us. Zhao Xiaojin said angrily. Everyone who makes a mistake will say that they were wronged. Boom! The 2 of them released their auras, and they directly imprisoned Qin Feiyang, Zhao Xiaojin, and the Fire Dragon. We were really wronged. Zhao Xiaojin shouted anxiously. It's not up to you to decide whether you were wronged or not. The 2 of them took a step forward. One of them rushed toward Qin Feiyang, while the other rushed toward Zhao Xiaojin. Wait! Qin Feiyang spoke up at this time. However, the 2 of them did not stop. One of them grabbed Qin Feiyang's arm, while the other grabbed Zhao Xiaojin's wrist. Zhao Xiaojin immediately looked at the Fire Dragon for help. Looks like I'll have to make a move, the Fire Dragon shook his head. However, before the Fire Dragon could finish speaking, one of the big-sized men raised his arm and grabbed the Fire Dragon, and snorted, even if you are a divine beast, you still have to lie down. The fire dragon said angrily, "Damn, how dare you be so arrogant? Do you know who this emperor is? I don't care who you are." The big man sneered. The other big man waved his hand, and the tightly shut door of the divine prison opened, and a cold aura immediately rushed out from inside. "Little bastard, you're useless." Qin Feiyang sent a sound transmission. "It's a bit of a miscalculation. This emperor has never been to the divine prison before, so they have never heard this emperor's voice. Plus, this emperor has changed a lot, so they can't recognize me. If I had known earlier, I would have dragged that damn old man along." The fire dragon thought. "Then what should we do now?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Why don't we just start?" The fire dragon sent a sound transmission. "Can we do it?" Qin Feiyang frowned. The fire dragon chuckled, "Isn't that simple? Take out your sovereign divine weapon and kill them directly. Get lost." Qin Feiyang's anger immediately flared up. Not to mention that he couldn't control the castle, he hadn't even investigated the relationship between the deputy leader and the blood hall. He definitely couldn't expose his identity. "Stop!" At this moment, a cold shout sounded. This voice, Qin Feiyang hurriedly raised his head and looked over. He saw a white-clothed youth flying over from afar like lightning. Brother Yi Tian. Zhao Xiaojin was also overjoyed. The two burly men were about to bring Qin Feiyang and the fire dragon into the divine prison. When they saw Yi Tian, their pupils shrank. Now, the entire Rogue Cultivator Alliance knew about the relationship between Zhao Xiaojin and Yi Tian. "Let them go." Yi Tian landed in front of the divine prison and looked at the two burly men. One of the burly men quickly said, "Young Master Yi Tian, didn't you hear me tell you to let go?" Yi Tian's eyebrows twitched. He didn't get angry, but he was still imposing. The two men looked at each other and could only let go. "You guys are finished. How dare you attack this emperor? Even if the Heavenly King comes down, he won't be able to save you." The fire dragon roared. Yi Tian was startled as he looked at the fire dragon. Why did this voice sound so familiar? "Brother Yi Tian," Zhao Xiaojin immediately ran to Yi Tian, tears of grievance flowing from his eyes. "Don't be afraid, I'm here." Yi Tian smiled gently. Zhao Xiaojin said, "Brother Yi Tian, you must believe me. Mo Wuji and I were wronged by them." Yi Tian heard this and looked at Qin Feiyang. "We were indeed framed," Su Qingsang said. Qin Feiyang nodded. Yi Tian was silent. Zhao Xiaojin said anxiously, "Brother Yi Tian, even you don't believe me?" No. Of course I believe you. But this matter is a bit troublesome because you guys are different from what Zhang Sanbao said. Someone has to come out and testify for you." Yi Tian sighed.